And we are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicinda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. Our hope and desire here at Plus One is to help amazing designers find great players who love their games and help amazing players find great designers whose games they can love. And we do that in a lot of different ways, but the most fun way to do it is to sit down with those designers to play those games, and that's exactly what we're doing today. We are big fans of Mythic Bastionland here at Plus One for a number of reasons. One, that we genuinely love the game. Two, that we're the North American distributor for it, so it's always great when people are excited about Mythic Bastionland. We've released a standalone supplement for it, and today we are going to be playing the second supplement to come out commercially for Mythic Bastionland. That is social combat rules for a trifold pamphlet called A House That Ate Itself by Austin. Austin, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, and a little bit more than I just did about A House That Ate Itself.
Yeah, good to meet everybody. My name is Austin Martin. I am a GM and a creator that makes little indie projects under the moniker Reliquary Games. Yeah, A House That Ate Itself is a little pamphlet that's a part of the currently ongoing side quest event for Kickstarter, where a bunch of creators are making small little things that we can ship with a stamp. And so this is kind of inspired by some rules that I improvise a little bit at the table, playing with my group, and then thought, wow, wouldn't it be really cool if we took some of these and adapted it to make a little system? So if you're familiar with games like Burning Wheel or those types of things, I know that's like a very particular style of tabletop RPG, but it's essentially a way to say, hey, we have a really high stakes encounter, maybe with the head of a ruler of a holding, or between two knights, that allows you to resolve some drama in a non-combative way, and also allows you to do some really cool things when it comes to like doing flashbacks or adding some additional narrative or history to your characters. So today we're going to be using some of those rules, and we're also going to be playing through a new myth that comes as a part of the supplement. So
Awesome.
That's me and what we're doing here today.
Super excited to play. Joining us for the first time here ever on stream, we've also got Jesse. Jesse, why don't you tell people about who you are, what you do, and I'm pretty sure you have a side quest project also too. You should tell us about that.
I do, yeah. So my name is Jesse Winter. I'm also a designer, mostly in the Shadow Dark sphere. I've released a few adventures, A Haunting in Glass, Outcast Unseelie, and The Ooze Between. And my current project, which is also on Kickstarter for side quest, is called Damp Dark Doom, which is this crazy little pamphlet adventure that opens up. One way you have a little one-shot dungeon delve, and then you can flip it over. And on the other side, it's a big point crawl that you can actually open up and show your players. And there's a little GM screen that goes with it, so you have all your notes right there.
It's one. I mean, it's probably one of the coolest lightweight form factors I've seen come out in a while. Like, we're big fans of messing around with product design and what you can do with some basic print stuff. And I love what you've been doing. I know your original, your last project was part of like the Puzzle Dungeon Jam, if I recall correctly, that then evolved out. And I feel like people who did the Puzzle Dungeon process with Direct Sun, like, they're really good at thinking about how form factor impacts final product also, and I think that's on full display and what you've got going on. So super excited. Folks should head over, check out both of those things on SideQuest. We're going to have Kendo introduce themselves in a minute, but before we hop to that, will y'all talk to us a little bit about what SideQuest is, even?
Sure.
Austin or Jesse?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so really the goal is behind this. So this is something that was started by Zach Goins, kind of put this together of Limithron, but also makes a bunch of great things under Snapback Productions. But really the goal was to say, hey, there's a bunch of these creators, a bunch of us that have these ideas that are maybe smaller than you would normally do for a Kickstarter. And so the idea was, well, why don't we all do some small projects together and then do some heavy cross promotion and make it so we can ship these with a stamp. Especially because like international, backers and such, it can be really expensive for people to get things, or even locally. The idea was to allow a lot of people to go and get a bunch of small, cool, fun projects cheaply and get a bunch of them. And so that's really the goal of the project, and to make things products accessible for people.
Yeah. I just dropped an interview that Zach did with Kickstarter into the chat that'll link out to a bunch of those projects and everything else. They're all going live right now for, I think, another 9-ish days. 10 days.
10 days.
So, Um, Go check them out. Shipping will be highly affordable on most of them. Some of them have it included. A lot of different cool stuff. A lot of Pirate Borg stuff if you're a fan of Pirate
Yes.
Borg also too,
Yes.
but some non-Pirate Borg things also
Yes.
too. Continuing with introductions, last but not least, we've got Kendo. Kendo, why don't you tell folks who you are, what you do, where they can find you online?
Yeah, hey everybody. My name is Kendrick or Kendo, whichever you prefer. I use any all pronouns, and oh gosh, what do I do? I am the creator of Tales Yet Told, an award-winning queer horror actual play podcast where we tell stories at the intersection of queerness and horror using indie TTRPGs. You can find that everywhere you get your podcast at Tales Yet Told, anywhere online at Tales Yet Told, anywhere like in social media that like actually matters. You can find it at Tales Yet Told, Blue Sky at talesyettold.com. And once you know it, that website just also works. If you want to check out our stuff, we have a God Killer season coming up called God Killer Peace and Death, which comes out next Friday, actually. So you're right on time to hop on board. And if you care about any of the other stuff I do, I work at Cobalt Press as a media production manager, and I also do some game design as well. You can find me online at Kendo Makes Films.
Awesome. Super excited to have you on to play as always. I had posted this out and you're like, man, I really would love to play Mythic Bastionland someday. And I was like, boy, do I have great news for you.
I was so subtle about it.
I was like, this saves me from having to go put an announcement out in the server and then go ask Kendo if they want to play. I can just ask them directly. Awesome. We are going to dive in pretty quickly. We've got some pre-generated characters we've all picked from, but there are some alternate rules here because we have to figure out emotional armor, some other things like that that are kind of core to how the system works. But before we hop into rules and other things, just do a quick pass around to talk about the calibration tools we use here on Plus One. These are things to make sure that as new play groups, we're all kind of on the same page and that everybody's comfortable at the table. We're going to use lines, veils, the X and O card, and the open door policy as our calibration tools. Lines and veils are things that are either off limits if it's a line or kind of treated intentionally if it's a veil. Lines that are always here on Plus One are sexual violence and sexual coercion. Everything else we want to leave open to a conversation based on the game we are playing. Does anybody want to add any lines to play? These are things that'll be off limits and won't come up in play.
I'm good.
Cool. So then we have veils, which are things we want to only approach within a certain context, mention and then fade to black, not dwell on for too long. Or is there anything we want to add to our veils list? Cool. And then the X card is the ability to pause the game at any point in time, ask questions. If there's an issue that's come up that we're uncomfortable with, we'll just name it and then move forward in a different direction. We may update our lines and veils at that point in time. The O card is the opposite. It's the ability to say O typo, which is just an indicator to the other players and the GMs of I'm super into what's happening right now and we should stay on this for a second longer also too. And then the open door policy is the ability to understand that we're all real human beings with things happening in and around us. So like one of my kids just started a washing machine next to me. So at some point a loud buzzer is going to go on. That's not really an open door policy example, but it is a heads up that at some point a loud buzzer will go off. But it's just the reality that somebody may come up and talk to us. We may need to get up and step off screen. We'll take breaks as needed also too. And we ask that you take care of yourself while we take care of ourselves and no one feels like they are trapped in the small square box that we can see on your screen. So any question about any of those rules?
No.
Cool.
Sounds great.
Awesome. With that said, Austin, I'm going to hand things over to you to take us into playing A House That Ate Itself.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, we're gonna get started here. So normally this would be the part of Mythic Bastionland where everybody would roll up their characters. And so something that we're just gonna gloss over briefly as a part of this is I want to make sure if somebody does run this that they kind of know about the emotional equipment and emotional armor. So in the supplement, there's going to be a table that you can roll on, and that'll assign you, like kind of a loadout of that armor and then the emotional equipment. And these are things that are kind of like the weapons that you're using in the debate. They're kind of indicative of maybe who your knight is as a person and what made them. And so we've already rolled our pre-gens, but I just wanted to let everybody know that if you were saying, hey, how do I get started playing this? That's going to be the one piece that we're not going to do on stream, but it's just a simple D20 roll. You write them on your character sheet, and then you will be good to go. So maybe once we get into an actual social combat, people can mention what exactly their emotional equipment is, and it would help to do that in that context. But other than that, yeah, I'm ready to jump in. Are you guys ready to go too?
Ready to go.
Let's do it.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. So you are all knights of the realm, and you are all knights gallant. So you are a little bit older. Maybe your beard's graying just a tad, but you're into your middle age, not fresh out of being a squire, and are a little more savvy in the way of the world. And so where we're going to begin today is your band of knights, along with your squire Arlo. You have all kind of found yourselves in a strange era in your life where you all had squires, but your squires have grown up, and they've all gone to be knighted themselves recently. And so there was a young boy in a dwelling that you picked up recently that just you found had taken quite good care of your horses without even asking, and begged you to take them along. And so it's the three of you that are riding towards the seat of power, about a day out, with Arlo on his pony kind of behind you. So you kind of all share one communal squire for the time being, and said, "Oh, we'll figure it out whenever we get over to the seat of power." But so as you guys are kind of riding and you're headed there, this is due to you received a letter, and there was a courier that came by that said the banquet night has finally hunted the famed albino stag. And you all know the banquet knight who rules the seat of power in this particular realm he's an avid hunter, and throws the best feasts. But he's been hunting this stag for a long time, and it seems they've finally gotten him. So you're all saying, "Hey, this looks like it's going to be one of the best feasts of the year. It's coming up on the end of the season. Sounds like we should probably ride towards the seat of power to attend." So you're on your way there, but before we jump into any action, I think it'd be good to go around the table and have everybody introduce what night they are playing, and maybe just give us a scene of maybe something impactful that you've done on this journey, or what you're talking about or doing as you're riding back. So maybe we start with you, Kendo.
Great. Um, I think. Oh gosh. Um, so I am playing the Snare Knight. They're riding on the back of their tattered steed. I think I'm going to go with the name Colden. Um, and they are draped in the kind of pelts and pelts and cloaks that a hunting knight would, one who spends most of their times in the woods more so than in civilization, feeling much more comfortable under the shade of trees than they do in the lights and fires of a keep. um I think between the three of us, Calden has been the one making sure that along this journey that we have food to eat. Hunting prey, catching, I mean, I am the snare knight, right? Putting up
Sure.
traps and such, capturing like small birds, animals such as that. And I think Calden's very interested in this feast, obviously, because who doesn't love a feast? But also, I'm interested in the banquet knight has been hunting this stag for quite some time, and I fear that perhaps um, his methods were not something that I would agree with. You know, desperation leads a man to some dangerous and perhaps less than ethical tasks.
Sure.
And so while I am here to have a good time and make sure that my traveling companions are fed, I also want to test the banquet night and make sure that, I don't know, make
Yeah,
sure
nothing
that
inhumane's happening.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly,
Understood.
exactly.
There is an important question from the chat also too, and you may not have thought about this yet. So if you need a minute while somebody else introduces, we can come back. But you also get a companion as the Snare Knight. Do you know? Do you know what your companion is?
Yes, I do. There's a little squirrel riding on the side or like riding on my shoulder as we're going. His
Hell
name
yeah.
is Nutty.
Nutty.
Um, and I think also like an older squirrel, probably older than some squirrels get around me, just because I keep him safe and keep him fed. So like, I mean, like graying fur, but like still, he's having a good time.
Okay, got it. Nutty. I see. I see. Awesome. Fantastic. All right, Tony.
Yeah, I think we see Sir Valo the Cold is, I think, riding at the back of the group, kind of not lagging behind, but definitely seems to be intentionally following everybody. I think they're probably right behind our squire. Kind of, it could ostensibly be keeping an eye on them, but they've got kind of this stern and austere look on their face. They have their helm down, so it's a little bit hard to tell, but there's an intentionality to the gaze that gives it something of a weight. We see like a very cruel mace hanging on one side and an even more intimidating looking whip on the other side. I am playing the Whip Knight. The quote is, "Some draw screams from flesh and bone, others seek to make soul moan." um, and I'm riding on my pampered steed Glimmer. The uh, the horse, I think, has like we see Sir Valo. It's all like dark blue and black tones. Glimmer, on the other hand, has this silver tracing kind of running through all of their livery, and is incredibly well taken care of
Sure.
as well. I also have a set of like very odd implements, some strange herbs, and a crystal flask hanging against my side. Also, too, very clearly in my saddlebags and packs. As we see, like, I think our young squire kind of falter in an inconsequential way. Like they start to just like turn off and get distracted by this like um let's just make it a deer. We'll just be thematic. We see a young doe like running in the distance, and they like stop to gasp, and we hear like Volo like let out a quick, sharp like bark for them to pay attention and keep moving. It is very clearly taken on the role of like disciplinarian for
Sure.
this young
Yeah.
squire.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. That's great. All right. Fantastic. Jesse.
Awesome. So I'm playing Ferdinand, the Rune Knight. He's rather tall. He's got a scraggly gray and black beard. He's wearing pitted iron armor on a black and white horse named Portent. And Ferdinand, every single night is spending a whole bunch of time just looking up at the stars, just marveling at them. It's like every single time, it's like the first day he's ever seen them. Um, and he spends that time smoking a pipe and occasionally taking bits of blue paint and painting the pits in his armor to symbolize the stars that inspire him the most that day.
Awesome. Fantastic. So no, that's great. So you guys, you all are riding through on your way to the holding as all this is happening, and you notice at this point you've been to the seat of power before. You're going through a thick wood, and you gather by it's probably early morning at this point. You've been riding for about an hour since you left camp, and you know that it's pretty much just a day's ride to the seat of power from here. It's about 2 hexes, so you'll get there around nightfall. uh, and Arlo the squire, as Sir Valo noticed, was kind of distracted by something and saw a doe, and the doe kind of runs off, but you see Arlo looking, and he goes, "No, sir, you don't understand. There's something's happening over there. There's something." And you see him take off. He starts riding. He just doesn't go that fast. He's on a pony, but you see him taking off, kind of off to the side into the woods, as he sees something going on. What do you all do?
And I increase speed and follow after him.
Yeah,
Okay.
very like similarly, and because I do not trust Arlo to not get himself
Children
into
will be
trouble.
children. I go along merrily.
All right. So you all go riding after, and it's easy enough for you to actually overtake Arlo because you have like premier steeds, and he essentially just has like a pony that has been dubiously acquired from stables near an inn. But as you catch up to him and he's riding, you actually hear commotion. You hear some sort of like some sort of shrieking and like the jingle of chains, and it sounds like men yelling that are maybe up about 30 yards ahead of you through the trees. The trees are thick enough that you can't make out a good view just yet of what's exactly happening. But as you're riding up, if is Sir Valor, are you the one at the front, or who imagines themselves to be at the front in this
I
scenario?
probably would be just
Okay.
given positioning.
If
Yeah.
you would not mind make a clarity test for me, so let's just see
Oh,
like kind of
my
what you can gather before you get right up on it.
my best stat. Excellent. It is not. Just for anybody out there watching. So I'm gonna Oh, I rolled a 1, so I do
Awesome.
great.
You do great. So you pick this out between the trees, but you notice what looks like there's a handful of men and women in armor, not like they don't look like they're knights, but they have like some sort of like crest on it, and they've got in chains this sort of strange looking creature with a like a their jawbone looks like it is not like where their normal jaw would be. It looks like the jaw of like an alligator, and it's long and comes out. They have like long black hair and bones around them. Their limbs are a little longer than you would expect. uh, and you immediately become alarmed and saying, I have not seen this particular seer before, but this definitely, like, a seer when you see
This
one, and they,
they
they're
have
kind of
chained
got
it.
their
They have
arms
chained
in
a Seer, though.
chains.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, and they're struggling against them, and they're like, hold him steady, get him on the horse. And you see there's like probably five five or six people that are trying to like get this seer out of what looks like there's some sort of burrow that's not very large nearby.
What is the crest? The crest is not the crest of the realm, I'm assuming, or is it?
No, it looks like a particular knight's crest. Like
Okay.
these
So
are
these are
like,
guardsmen of another
yes,
knight.
like named men style
Gotcha.
people. That's what it looks like to you.
Well, it sucks for them because I'm just going to I'm going to ride Glimmer straight up and essentially, like, have Glimmer rear up and like hoof one of them if I can.
Okay, awesome. So if you could make you guys can get to go first. We'll come into like kind of a loose combat here, but the rest of you ride up just behind. If you would like to go ahead and make a quick roll for the horse for some hooves.
Yeah. Do you want spirit for that, or do you want vigor?
Sure. We can do vigor. Vigor sounds fine.
That's 6 under 15.
Okay, that is a success. Oh, I apologize. I was actually rolled a damage for the
Oh, that's right.
horses.
We hit
Die because
automatically.
we
I don't
just
even-
hit.
It's because it's a into the odd game. So
That's
we're
right.
We're just yeah. The what is my where is my
So if you look on your sheet in the bottom left, you can see your
there we go.
horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was it doesn't actually have a damage. We'll just use my mace. That's
D6.
fine.
Let me see which one you are. Where are you? Oh, why don't you put a D8 trample down there?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll add it for you real quick.
That's a 6, which I
Perfect. Awesome. So that the horse's hoof just goes right into the head of one of them and knocks him backwards. Does a significant blow to them, and then immediately at this point, the two most notably that are holding the chains, drop the chains and go to pull their sword out. To sort of fight you and say that one goes, all rally, and you see them put themselves into some sort of like loose formation, and you see the seer start to like to take a moment to like run down like on all fours into the burrow, with the kind of the chains behind him. The chains are still kind of lagging outside the burrow, but you see all six of them have put themselves in kind of a loose formation with you at the front, to try to like to defend against it. They look pretty spooked. But I think this is a good opportunity just to go into a combat here. So let me grab my little reference for this here.
I like how we promised social combat, and then I was just like, I
That's
ride
okay.
my,
Let's
I ride
immediately
my,
kill these
talk
guys.
to these fuckers. Hell no.
You know what? Sometimes you just gotta, hoof a guy in the face. You know what I mean?
So yeah, for anybody watching out there, the Knight's Oath is seek the myths, honor the seers, protect the realm. People trying to kidnap a seer against its rules rule is a pretty immediate. Yeah, just hit those guys.
Yeah, it's no good.
Okay. Perfect. So the way we're gonna do this, the knights go first, and then we will then proceed into the next turn for the enemies here. So for those of you guys that haven't played, this is an into the odd style system. So you are going to roll the dice for your weapons. If you're riding your horse, you can also use the dice for your horse or for your shield. If you have that on your equipment as well, you'll roll them as a pool, and then you will take anything that is the highest die will be damage, and then anything that is lower than that but is a 4 or higher, that'll be a gambit, and then you can check and look at some of the gambits and see what we might want to do here. You can also do feats. They just happen, but you have to roll at the end to see if you are exhausted and continue to do them. So um, we'll say that the rest of the three of you, Arlo and then the two other knights, come up behind Servalo. And so who wishes to go first? You can also kind of combine your dice pools if you wish, and then kind of narratively describe how you do that together. And that can be a way to say, like, we're trying to get a higher damage die or get more gambits on a particular roll. But we'll just kind of go through it as we go and see what comes out and play it.
I feel like I just did a dumb thing. So why don't you all tell me what y'all are doing in response to the dumb thing? I mean, not dumb thing, but I just took an action. Why don't y'all tell me what y'all are doing first?
Yeah. I think Calden would be the second, and in seeing you just trampled this person and that they're starting to get into formation, is going to ride around like the edge of this like kind of clearing. And Calden has a hand axe that is attached to a bit of wild rope, and so I think he like swings it around and tries to I think like basically like swing, like wrap it around and like have the hand axe at the end, so like the rope wraps around it, the weight keeping the momentum, and then the hand axe like burying itself into like the chest of one of these guys, so that he can then like pull them.
Perfect. Okay, go ahead and roll your dice. So do you have we'll just start with, do you have a shield, or do you just have your axe?
I just have my axe. My only armor is my gambeson. So
okay, perfect. And then your horse, you're riding your horse. What's it say for the die for your horse in the bottom left?
The save for my horse, I see it's vigor, clarity, spirit, and
at the other section at the bottom, you might see a number. Let me check. You have one there.
It could be
here. Let me add it. Yeah, so it'll be D6. We'll do D6 trample.
Okay, cool. That is a 2.
Okay. And then what did you roll on your die for your axe? So you'll roll them all as a dice pool.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Hold on, let me get another D6 then.
Yeah. It's a very kind of like tactical way of thinking about like here's all the things here's all the dice we have, and then how do we want to assign them?
That is
right. And then we narratively kind of tell a story about how they all what happens. Yeah. Right.
Got it. Cool. So that is a 2 for that trample die, and then a D6 for the hand axe.
The 6 total, a 6 on that other die?
Yes, a 6 on
okay, 6. Die, great. So the 6 is going to be damage. So so you whip this around and you see it kind of bury it into the chest of this guy, and you see him immediately, he starts to double over. He does look like he's still standing, but you look like he's going to have a really hard time doing too much for the time being. So the first guy has taken we'll say 6 damage. And so the way that this works, if you look on your sheet, you'll notice you have guard. So first you start by removing guard, and then, which is you can think of as like temporary hit points, and then from there it comes off of your armor. Or first it comes off armor, then it comes off your guard, and then when you have no guard left, your vigor starts to be reduced, which is your hit points and also kind of like your stat for it. So perfect. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at these guys. What do they have in terms of their armor? Great. Perfect. All right, I've got that going.
Awesome. I have a question. So I have a slow weapon, and which you can't use that if you're moving, but can you use it if you're on a horse and move at the same time?
I would say so. I think so.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, everybody else is going into combat. This seems fun. Let's do it. So I, happily just charge on in, and then there's suddenly like a fire in my eyes, and I want to use smite as I pull out my runed pillar. I have a pillar as my weapon,
Okay.
just like a big slab of stone with a bunch of runes on it, and it like surprised the guy on the other side as it comes swinging over. Um, yeah, so it's 2d10, which is kind of
Oh
Holy
crazy.
wow.
shit.
Yeah, I would say because you're like you're working on like holding it, and then the horse is moving, and then the horse kind of
Yeah.
stops, and
Yeah,
you
just
know
let the
it's
momentum
unwieldy, but
carry
it's very
itself.
momentum based. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and again, I do want to try and smite with it too.
Awesome.
So
So
that's
would you
in it.
like to blast? So that in the
I
way their
think
formation
so.
is kind of broken up is into groups
Yeah,
of we'll say 3. So if you want to hit a group of 3 of them, you could do that with your
absolutely. Let's
blast
do
weapon.
that. That sounds
Yeah,
great.
cool.
Okay, 6, 3, and 3. I'm supposed to pick a number at the beginning of the day, also
Okay.
to like change a die.
Okay.
Um, I didn't declare it, but for the future, it's going to be 3.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
I don't think I get to use that this time.
Sure. That sounds fair.
So I think yeah, the 6 is the one that is a success, right? So I
Hmm.
think let's do that.
Okay, perfect. And so you take 6 damage off. It goes into 3 of these guys. So immediately from there, we'll say one of the guys that was previously hit is like a part of that as well as you're coming around. So there is the one guy with the axe in his chest. As you hit him, the axe flies out. That's on your rope and comes back to you, and you see him down on the ground, just barely a point or two of HP, like coughing blood and struggling significantly. And then the other 2, as this, what does this smite look like? Like what's it look like?
I think maybe even like smashing it into the ground, like the follow through goes through a
Sure.
guy down into the ground, so there's just like a plume of dust, that
Awesome.
kind of shoots up, and I just scream out, "What ho, terrible man!"
Perfect.
Uh,
So at this point, we'll go ahead and say Arlo's gonna kind of be from behind. Arlo's got a bow, and he's kind of keeping his distance, but is you know him to be like a decent shot. So he's gonna go ahead and take the guy that's on the ground. Is trying to get up, and Arlo's gonna go ahead and shoot his bow, and you just see an arrow go through his neck. And you had a 1 or 2 fights with Arlo to know that he is like not the bravest combatant. He tends to like pick off people that are running or people that are really low and hide behind things. His horse is off to the side and he's kind of behind a tree a little bit. But if you command him to come in and help you, he will run in with his knife. So if any of you would like to leverage him in the next round for some help,
Yeah.
feel free to do so. Okay, so we're now good. Go ahead.
Did you want me to get another action, or was mine the first one?
I think yours was the first
That's
one to
fine.
kind of start the encounter
That's great.
as a bit
I
of a
just wanna make
surprise.
sure.
But no, all good. So
and would
now
you like me to roll for my vigor for smite?
oh yes, of course, please do that.
Okay, I got a 3, so that's good.
Great, you
I
succeeded.
had a 4. I just want to spit on a gambit also too for my roll.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I'm actually going to pull out my whip and just wrap one of the guys with
Sure.
the whip. So I'm just going to spin it to stop a foe from moving next turn.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. Can do. All right, so at this point, there's 5 of them left, and 2 of which have been injured significantly. But the 2 that are kind of injured that are right up, we'll say those 2 are going to go up on you, Valo, and then for the other 2 knights, you are each going to have one, and then you see one that is looks like they see Arlo shoot somebody, and they start to run towards Arlo, towards the trees, but hasn't quite made it there. They're going to spend their action or their turn like making it over to him because he's quite a bit away. So they'll end up. There's one right up next to Arlo. There's 2 on Uvalo, and then for Calden and Ferdinand, you each have 1 on you. So I'm gonna roll an attack against each of you, and then we'll see how that kind of goes. So let me pull this up here. Fantastic. So they have D8 hefty. So that is going to be a 8 on you, Kendo. In terms of damage, it's going to be a 5 on you, Jesse, and then it is going to be a 7 on you, Tony.
Can I deny that?
So you do have.
Yeah.
It is worth noting there is a feat that you can use to mitigate some of this. So one of the feats is called let's see which one is it's deny.
Yeah.
So after an attack versus you or an ally within reach, and then the other one gets up to oh, and then Tony, you're getting one more on you. Okay, and then that one I rolled a 5. So those attacks are coming towards you guys. The other one runs up again towards Arlo, and you see Arlo hiding behind the trees. He looks like he might be about to run. What do you do in response? Is there any? Are you using any feats?
I'm
Are
going to
you
deny that that 8 damage if
Okay.
possible.
Okay? So what does that describe? What that looks like to us as you how you deny that?
This person is coming. What were they using to attack me again?
So they have a heavy like it's like a mace. It's like a two-handed
Okay.
like Morning Star style like mace.
I think this guy is coming up with this mace, and I still have one of the other people like wrapped up in the
Mhm.
with it, and I think I'm just going to pull on that to basically pull the body from behind them and like knock this person off their feet as they're
Sure.
trying to like come and attack me using the.
So they
body of
swing
this-
wide and lose their footing for a second. The other person gets spun over to the side.
Yeah.
Jesse, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm also going to try and deny.
Okay.
I think Portent, my horse, and I. Portent is paying more attention to things than I am, and just kind of knows to sidestep.
Sure.
Hopefully,
That comes with the name, right? It's just for
Yeah,
some reason
exactly,
the horse
exactly.
sidesteps right at the right moment,
Yeah,
and you don't know
Right.
why.
Yeah,
Kendo, if you
and
would
that's a
roll
success.
a spirit save as well to see if
Yeah,
you,
I got a 3 on that. I'm lucky with the 3s today.
nice,
I got a 6 under 14, so
perfect,
or sorry, 9 under 14. That's still-
fantastic. And then Sir Valo. Oh, I think you're on
You're
mute.
muted.
Did we take into account the fact that one of the guys was wrapped up with a whip?
Yeah. Oh, let's see if he's wrapped up with the whip. Yeah. What was that? Was that you made it so he couldn't move
I mean,
that turn?
Yeah, I mean, I was basically trying to bind him with the whip. I'm happy to let
Sure.
you
Yeah.
interpret that as
We can-
how you want.
We can call it impair maybe, and then
Yeah.
one of those will be I'll re-roll that first one that was a pretty high die to be a D4.
Cool.
So we'll just do that. There would have been one of them is a 5 and one of them is a 3. So we'll call it. He's trying to attack you, but he's not able to do very
That's
much
fine.
damage.
I'll
because of
take
that.
my I'll go ahead and take that hit still, and just
Okay.
let my guard go down a little bit,
Okay, cool.
or guard go off, and then vigor
A
go
little
down
bit
a
of a little bit of vigor.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So now it's back to you all again at this point. What would you wish to do?
I want to trample this guy that's just trying to attack me.
Yeah, I would actually
Okay.
say so. The easiest way is to roll your dice pool, and then think about
Yeah.
what it is you're
Okay,
doing
okay.
with those
Mhm.
things.
And yeah, exactly. And Arlo's like kind of yelling for help as well. He starts to run around the tree, and he's on the other side of the tree, and so he's kind of running away, but he still has his bow. So if somebody wants to like use his dice with you, that's something that you could do on a turn too. So.
And did you say someone was following him?
Yeah, somebody's kind of
Yeah.
chasing him. They ran up to him where he's hiding behind the tree, and you see him run the other side of the tree, and it looks like the guy's coming around it, is chasing after him with a mace, and he's running with his bow, but he's got an arrow knocked.
Actually,
I'm going to use Pain Strike on the one who I have bound. Like this is like I think we see like small like crystalline barbs. Like as I pull
Okay.
this whip off, tear into this guard's like exposed flesh.
Okay.
So that's going to do 6 damage. But Pain
Okay.
Strike also applies anything over guard to spirit instead of vigor. And if the
Okay.
target loses half or more of their spirit from the attack, they lie broken before me.
Okay. All right. Oh, that's interesting for this session in particular. All right.
There's a reason I picked. I was like,
yeah.
that's such a great this
Awesome.
narrative. Yeah.
So you they have a spirit of 7. They're not the best. So it absolutely. So what is breaking his spirit? What does this look like? So you take this guy out immediately.
Yeah, I think I think we see them fall to the ground and like just like heaving like sobs start to escape their like big hulking like
Yeah.
guy who had been bound up and was like I think probably thought he was about to snap this whip, like just fall to the ground and start weeping like a small child. And I
Yes.
think like it almost like their breath looks a little bit cold. Also, too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it looks
yeah.
like they are out in the winter somewhere.
Hyperventilating, and you can see
You
the
can
the
see,
breath
even though the
coming
day
out.
is
Yeah.
fully warm, like you can see this like cold breath escaping their body as they heave and cry and on the ground. And so, and then I think I'm gonna, like we see me pull it back, and I'm gonna spend Gambit to um hit the other one with my spiked mace.
Okay.
But my goal is I want to knock them to the ground. So it's a
Okay.
Gambit.
Great. Got it. Okay, so you're gonna knock one of them to the ground. So I've got one went down. We're calling them down because their spirits are reduced. They're out of the combat, but they're still alive. And then one of the other ones you're gonna knock them to the
Knock them
ground.
prone.
So
Yeah.
okay, got it. So I've got one of the ones in front of you is knocked to the ground. Great. Okay, perfect. All right, who would like to go next?
Ferdinand,
And you hear
do wanna
Arlo
go
screaming,
help?
"Help!
Yeah, I was
Sure,
gonna
yeah.
ask,
He's like
Ferdinand, do you
running
wanna
with
help Arlo,
the
or do you
knocked
wanna
arrow.
go?
Sure. Marlo, come back, you scamp. And I'm just gonna go charging, gonna plan on trampling the guy that's chasing him. and
Okay,
Hopefully
awesome.
get a nice big swing on him. Okay. So 3, 3, and 5. Oh, I might as well smite too, because I have a very good
vigor.
vigor, so I might as well smite. So that's a D12.
Yes.
That's a 9.
All right.
And so I can spend a gambit. I think a strong gambit.
What were the totals of all your dice?
Oh no, I knocked one over. I think a 6, a 9, a 3, and a 3.
Okay, so your 9 would be the damage, and then your 6 would be the gambit. To be a strong gambit, it's got to be an 8.
Okay,
so
perfect. Then
go ahead. We'll go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Oh,
so
and go ahead.
with the 9 damage, and then let's just like knock him down, like hit him so hard he like falls
I keep
down.
forgetting I'm supposed to be making a save for them to see if they can pass these gambits. Let me see if he can pass. So this guy got a 9, so that is going to be that is just barely going to pass for him right now.
Okay.
So he's going to succeed. And Tony, let me roll for yours really quickly too.
Oh, now you want to go back and
he's failed. He failed anyway, so he's knocked down. So okay. So but you do 9 damage, Jesse?
Yep.
Okay.
And I succeed on my vigor test.
Perfect. So this one has been taken very low, and is now like, it's also a situation where you've kind of put yourself between Arlo and this guy. So he's gonna, and what Arlo's gonna do actually is, because he's so low, Arlo's gonna fire a shot, and kind of now that you've done that, and Arlo's got a 5 on his D6, so that's going to, he's gonna take an arrow, and then I think you come in with a big hammer and you just crush this guy, and he immediately goes down.
Fine shot, my boy.
All right, Kendo. So there's one kind of off to the side that is full HP, and then there is kind of one that's between you and Tony that is knocked down, and then another one kind of standing in front of Tony that's up. And both of those in front of Tony are looking somewhat hurt in some capacity.
Also,
the one that is off to the side looks like they're gonna run too.
Zarian is calling out, and this is correct. You can choose which die. Oh, we lost him. They'll be back. I'll wait till Jesse's back. Well,
I have a cat, man. My cat's doing some fun stuff.
Cat things.
She really loves the dice right now.
So you can choose whether to make the highest die your damage or not, because you might want it to be the non-savable gambit if it's over an 8.
Okay.
Like so it is usually almost best to make it the damage. However, if you're trying not to kill people, oftentimes the gambit option is better, or you just don't want to give the big hulking monster the ability to attack next turn, other things like that. The non-savable function of a 8+ can be a better way to use a high die.
Perfect. Cool. Good job. Thank you from the chat.
Thank you. All right, cool. Then I'm gonna go ahead and say, I feel like Calden is very much like a guerrilla fighter, and so is not just going to stand here and fight. It's like, oh, okay, I'm leaving this person. I'm going to wrap around to go to the full health person who's trying to run. I'm dragging this person along with me as I
the
run.
Other one. Okay.
Who's still kind of wrapped. And so I'm going to try to smite for this as well.
Okay.
So I've got my D6 trample, my D12, and then D6 hand axe with the rope.
I love smiting one guy into another. This is gonna be great.
That is a 5, a 4, and a 9. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm gonna
Okay.
have the 9 be the damage. I'm
Okay.
going to spend the 5 for let's see. Let's go with a stop a foe from moving next turn. So
Okay.
as I run past him and I trip him with the body of this other guy I have
Okay.
wrapped up in the rope.
Okay. Got it. And so that was what was that die for the gambit?
That was a 5 that I
Okay,
used
so let's
for
see
that.
if he
So
can.
yeah, that's it.
He does not save against it. He rolls a 14. Okay,
Hell yeah.
and so yeah, so you kind of got this weird scenario where you pull the other one to chase the other guy, and you got them like He's tangled up in the other one there, and so now that we're gonna kind of flip to the enemy's turn. So the two that are right there will. So the one that can't move this turn, they're gonna go ahead and make an attack against you, and then the other one's gonna make an attack as well. So the first one's going to be a 1, and then the other one's going to be a 6. That are coming at you as they're doing this. So the one guy that's all super tangled up is just like totally basically misses. I imagine your armor absorbs some of that, and then the other one with the 6 is kind of knocks the guy out of the way in some capacity and goes to hit you.
Gotcha.
And then
As a heads up,
go
I
ahead.
rolled a 5 for my save for the
Okay,
smite, so that's
good to go.
fine. And I would love
Perfect.
to deny this 6 if possible.
Yeah, go for it. What does that look like?
I think it is like I'm just like I see him coming and I just keep moving. I do not stop. I've got the momentum and I'm just like trying to continue to just kind of go in circles
Okay.
around this clearing. And so this is what is this? A spirit save?
Okay.
That is a crap. That's a 15 over
Okay.
14.
So you are now exhausted, so you can no longer do feats. But as he goes to hit you with it, you start riding, and the rope just pulls them forward, and it all misses. And as they're getting pulled along, you hear one of them go to the other, say to the other, like, I told you we shouldn't fight knights. I told you this was a bad idea." They're getting kind of like pulled along, and then yeah. So now it's back up to you guys. Tony, did you take the 4 for that, or what are you doing from that attack towards you? The one that's down is swinging at you. It goes for 4 towards you.
One of them
but
should be
can't move.
broken, so they should be out of the combat, right?
Yes, there is. So there's one other than the 2 people that are being dragged along. There's one that's knocked down.
Oh, so
Go
the
ahead.
other one came over to me
Yes,
off of
yeah,
our.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
cool.
Yep.
That's fine. And the options were 4 or what?
It was just a 4. There's one die.
I'll
Just one die, 'cause the
deny
other one's
and
kind of
and try to make
broken.
that save. It's
Okay.
that's my highest stat. I'm
Cool.
fine. So
Okay.
I'll deny that. I think we
right.
see. And it is literally like it is just a like my horse. My Glimmer is a good enough horse, and they just step sideways, and the person whiffs like past us.
Sure. So at this point, it's now up to you guys. There's 2 that are kind of like tangled up and getting pulled along by this this rope, or they're like all tangled together. And the one that's like up against you, they kind of put their hands up at this point because they're significantly outnumbered. His 2 comrades are kind of like roped up, and then there's one on the ground that's sobbing. And so they say, whoa, we don't have to fight to the death, okay? We were just hunting, and we came across something interesting, and we should have known better. I'm really sorry. Okay. You can it's still your go. So if you want to attack them, you still can. But the one is pleading with you as he's seeing his allies getting pulled away.
I feel like Ferdinand has to probably be our non-dickish face.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, I have quite a bit of compassion. If they're giving up, I'm willing to allow them to lick their wounds and
You're
waddle
dragging
off.
2 guys right now, right?
Yeah, I didn't. I'm dragging them around. I'm not.
Oh, my thought is also
hanging them
you
from
were
a tree,
over there.
Yeah.
Like of the 2 who are here, Valo
That's
should
fair.
not be
Yeah.
the one to respond.
Yeah,
to
I
this.
casually am starting to come over and I pull my pillar up on my shoulder. It's eerie how easy I make it look, and say, but friend, you are tangling with a sealer, tangling up a seer. Let's put it that way. What nonsense? What nonsense are you doing here?
We we didn't really know what it was. We were hunting a doe, and we were just out on a hunt on our way to the banquet, and we came up across this burrow, and one of the men went down into the burrow and something stabbed them, and we went down to pull it out and see what it was, and we were just trying to figure out what to do with it, you know. I've never seen a seer before.
Yeah, but you've heard that anything weird is most likely a seer or an omen or something. It's incredible how dumb you are.
Yeah, he looks
Uh,
very guilty. He's like, no, really, but you can tell that he should really know better. um
Uh, I've gotten down from my mount and I'm crouched next to the one who's sobbing. Just- I just lean in close and I say, "Who is your lord?"
the banquet night, my liege.
And what would he think of your actions today?
He would be unhappy, sir.
With your failure or with your attempt?
Both, sir.
I stand back up and mount back up.
He starts sobbing harder. It just is and the other one goes, you're right, we should have known it was a seer. We were just going to bring it in. We thought it could be, we didn't really know what to do. We figured we'd just bring them into the seat of power and see what he has to say. I don't know. Look at it, and then you look at, he's like, look at him, and there's one of the guys on the ground that like absolutely got smashed, and he's got like a little like in between his shoulder armor, looks like there was like a dagger that was stuck there that you don't remember putting there, but it doesn't look like necessarily justifying of grabbing a seer and hauling them out of their hole.
I look to Valo as he's climbing up, and we shouldn't leave. We can leave them, but we shouldn't leave. This happened for a reason. The reason is we found a seer. We should see them.
Um, how big is the burrow?
The entrance to it looks like it's about it's like a 10-foot hole, and as you go down, it probably narrows inside of. You think that you could all probably squeeze into it if you had to, um, but it'd be kind of like, it doesn't look like appetizing. Doesn't look like the kind of place you like really want to go, but
And the seer had been chained before. Did it just run inside with all the chains still attached to it?
yeah, so you can actually see that their chains are pretty long. They're like
Okay.
12-foot chains, and you can see them actually sticking out of the hole. So you know the seer went back into the burrow and still has them on them in some capacity, but nobody's holding onto the chains.
I think Calden, having dismounted and seeing this burrow, I think looks over towards Nutty, who's still on my shoulders after all of this, and I whisper some words to it. Check on the seer.
Okay.
To try to get him to go off and into the burrow.
Okay. Can you speak with this thing?
It partially understands
Like-
human speech. I can't
Okay.
understand it. But,
Okay,
well,
okay.
actually,
So-
maybe we found.
I
a
think
way
I liked
kind
it.
of, yeah.
So when you said that it was a really old for a squirrel, now I'm like, oh yes, I will go check. It's this old squirrel, and so you can talk to, and you see it like go into the burrow or whatever, and a few moments happen, and then the squirrel comes out and says, "The seer wishes to speak with you specifically. Uh, I think you will find them most favorable to us."
I turn towards the other two. Well, I'll speak with the seer.
Yeah, Valo just like gives you the head nod.
I think there's also there's seers being these great things, there you never know exactly what you're about to walk into, and so I think just as like a precaution, just like as a general thing, looks over to I would probably trust Ferdinand with this more. I'm trying to figure out who I trust more with this. Maybe Ferdinand. I reach into like a little satchel that's like around, and I hand you a bag of like seeds and nuts in case I don't return for
Oh,
Nutty.
they'll make a fine snack.
Nutty looks
They're
at you
for the
like
squirrel.
really wide-eyed, like what are you about to do?
Like just I, it's okay, just in case. And I, hands and knees, begin to crawl into
Okay.
this burrow.
Yeah. So you start walking down, and then you crawl, and it's like it probably then narrows down to about a 4 foot, little tunnel that you
Mhm.
make it through. And then in the corner, you see kind of like on a pile of like bones. They look like they're small bones. They look like this. They've been eating like random, just whatever beast they can find from the woods. And you see the seer has got like the jawbone is this like long distended crocodile jawbone. And as they speak, you hear like it sounds like the growls and barks of a wolf. Like you can't like when you hear it sounds like growls and animal noises, but like somehow in your mind you understand the words that are being said. And they say, thank you, great knight, for rescuing me. I wish to speak with you specifically because you see the plight of the beast and what is happening here to the forest.
You honor me, great seer. I am. I scarcely believe I am worthy, but I do know what you speak of.
Say the woods here are dying. The closer you get to the seat of power, the more you will begin to see what is starting to fade. Some of the branches are wilting, the bushes are dying, the ecosystem is waning. Says, without the god of the wood, what are we to do?
Do you believe, or I guess I should ask, these men who have wrapped one such as yourself in chains, dragging you from your burrow, we have learned that their lord, the banquet knight, have you seen him in these woods?
I have seen him in this woods, yes. I have seen him. I have seen his hunt of the great stag of the wood for many years.
Hmm.
However, I never thought he would get it. No one has hunted the god of the wood up until this point. In fact, I thought it was impossible. Although rumor has it was not even him that hunted it.
I think Calden's like immediately like kind of like piques their interest and goes, it wasn't him who slayed the god of these woods. A
I
man
cannot
of
say
his.
I cannot say who. He is yet still held responsible, to be held responsible. But he was
Yeah,
not the one that swung the blade.
yet he claims the kill. Has the deterioration of these woods, have they come before or after the slaying of the god?
They have come after.
Most troubling.
I
I
wish
will.
to
Oh,
go
please.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I will relay this information to my companions so that we may be on guard and on watch for any more nefarious works of this so called banquet night.
They nod to you and they open their hands up with the chains on them to have you like release them. And you see in one of the hands there's a pot, like a handful of nuts, and Nutty just kind of goes up and eats them. Uh, and then goes back to your shoulder and says, "Do you have the means to unsecure these?"
I'm trying to think if I do. I mean, as a hunter myself, I imagine I might have some kind
Yeah,
of tool that would
sure.
allow me to like pry them open, if not.
Yeah, you could figure it takes you a little bit, but you
Okay.
manage to get them off, no
Yeah.
problem.
I do
Um,
so very graciously, like trying not to meet like their eyes directly, trying to show as much,
as you're doing it, this
grace to
jawbone, this
them.
long jawbone, is like right up under your chin as you're doing it. And it's a little unsettling. It's like
Hmm.
hot breath coming into you, and it takes a little longer than would be like truly comfortable to be in that scenario. But you manage to get them off, and they say, "Thank you for the men up there. Might I ask you leave them to the woods? The woods is weak, but men such as that far weaker."
May their blood and bones fertilize new growth.
They give you kind of a nod, and then they like kind of shrink back into the corner and just begin gnawing on some like bones.
And I very graciously, kind of bow, turn, and make my way out of the burrow.
Okay. Nutty goes, "See, that wasn't so bad, right? I mean, oh, it wasn't that so bad. It wasn't bad, right? I mean,
No, it was good. It was very good. What a beautiful creature. So
Nutty goes, "Thank you."
oh, of course, you too, Nutty.
So you,
And yeah, upon making my way out and back to my companions, I say, I have freed the seer from their bondage and have learned quite troubling news. These woods, they are dying. Some corruption, pestilence, nefarious deeds, I am unsure. But it has come post the slaying of the gods of these woods. A slaying that our dear banquet knight has claimed for themselves, yet I have also learned it was not them who made the kill.
I I'm quiet for a second, and then I spit out one of the nuts that I had tried. Uh, uh, sorry, bit bitter, not for human consumption.
No,
Um,
they were for a squirrel.
uh, is there a way to right this wrong? A way to save the forest?
Unsure. But I believe if we were to interrogate, or more politely question our dear banquet knight, we may learn yet who killed the god of these woods, and perhaps even more so, what plight now deteriorates it so. It makes me question whether or not the men who captured this seer and wished to drag it perhaps back to the seat of power, if they were told specifically to do so by the banquet knight.
you look at the couple, the one of the men that was like questioning you immediately looks down as this is being said.
They do seem that sort of fool, but we have you leading us and there to make things right in the face of the banquet night. I have every confidence we shall prevail.
I see.
Are
Let's
you
see.
going to bring us back to our lord for punishment purposes?
Kind of like turns to look at them with a cold, steely gaze before turning back to the two of you and whispering lower. The seer asked for us to leave them to the woods and allow them to fertilize what lies dying.
Where does your lord dwell?
In the seat of power, just half a day's ride to the north. We're on our way for the banquet, you know.
I'm assuming they were on foot.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
all on foot. Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to wait for these idiots. We also don't have to tell them they're about to die if we don't want to.
You're right, right, right.
Yeah.
They do look nervous, like that, like they're coming back. Like they're nervous to return, but they don't want to be. They're afraid to be left here as well, and say they're kind of just awaiting their fate at this moment, trying to figure out. They're widely outnumbered. Well, there's kind of the same amount, but you guys are,
Yeah.
you're
We're
knights of the
knights.
realm.
Yeah.
There are. Did any of them? They're just mostly horribly injured, correct? At this
Yeah,
point in
there's a
time?
couple of them that are there on my sheet. I have three of them are dead, and then one of them is like severely injured and knocked down. One is like weeping still, and you know that the weeping when that happens is like he'll be crying for a while still, probably like it's gonna be a bit. So there's really only three left, and only two of them are capable of traveling at this point.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's great.
Yeah.
Did you bring the chains back out with you? Ooh.
I mean, the ends of them are hanging out
Oh
like
no, I know. I'm
on
just
the outside
curious.
as well.
Like,
Yeah.
Calden, did you bring the chain, like the manacle end of the chains, back out with you?
I can. Yeah. We
Yeah,
could say
let's-
I did.
I mean, honestly, I think the move here is chain these guys up and tell them they can walk, like they can walk back
Yeah.
chained together. Is
Yeah.
is a great way to hinder them. Also,
Yeah.
too.
Okay. So you guys chain them up together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell them
Yeah,
they can
great,
they can head to the holding if they want to.
You just hear one of them as they're getting chained up. He's like, "We just got untangled." It's just like you're like as you're wrapping them up with everything. Like first it was the axe with the rope. Now it's the chains. And once you finish up, they say, "I guess we'll see you at the feast. Enjoy the ride."
Enjoy the walk.
Come on, let's go. And they start walking. So, all right, you guys get back on your horses and head towards the seat of power.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys begin to ride, and Arlo's like, "Good job, guys. It's good job. It was great. Thanks for saving me, by the way, Ferdinand. You know, my pony's
Oh.
not very fast, and I should have stayed on him anyway. So,
Oh, you did very great, Arlo. You found these men. You found this situation, and now we've learned so much. You did wonderfully.
thank you, thank you." And so he starts to ride along with you. As you get probably about 100 yards away, you hear from the area of the burrow this like wolf's howl that is loud. You see birds like flying up through the trees and like taking off, and then maybe about 15 to 20 seconds later, you hear screaming from the men that you saw, and hear things running quickly within the bushes. And you gather that the woods, despite its slow death, is taking care of itself in some capacity.
Ah, isn't the wilderness just beautiful?
Excellent.
Okay. So as you guys begin to ride, you ride without too much eventfulness throughout the rest of the day. And as the sun is kind of setting, you come out of the woods and into a clearing. And you do, as you're kind of going through the woods. Let me go look at my references again real quickly. So Calden, as you're kind of riding through, because of this conversations you've had with the seer, as you get closer to the seat of power, and the further you get, the more that you do notice like things are starting to wilt in the woods, and like the trees just along the clearing as you kind of come out into this area where you're at the edge of the forest, and then you can now see the seat of power. There's probably about like what looks to be about 2 mile, like a mile and a half, 2 miles, to ride through this clearing to get to the holding itself. But just along that edge, the trees are for the most part like they're actually dead. So it seems to be like spreading out from the seat of power towards the inner part of the woods. So it does seem what they're saying seems to be true. Um, but as you approach, you see the large castle and the walls that surround it. This is by far the largest holding in this realm. You can see that there's kind of like the battlements that go around, and there's a couple towers specifically. You can also see hung out on the walls there are banners that are like they it's kind of like the equivalent of like breaking out the nice china when
Mhm.
people come over. You know what I mean? Like they hung out all the heraldry, and when you see that, it's really like even you all who are like, maybe have not interacted with him much before. You're like, I've heard that this guy puts on a hell of a feast. So, um, but as the sun's kind of setting, you're able to like ride in towards the holding. As we're approaching, is there anything you guys want to do, you all but want to do before you get there, or that you would want to do upon like once you do get there, as it's kind of nightfall? You would know the feast is essentially to be tomorrow evening, so you have some time, a little bit of time before that, and what you would wish to do. This is a large enough kind of like it's a walled city. It does have like some peasants. It's got a blacksmith. It's got like all the things that you would kind of expect of the say you're in Game of Thrones and you show up to King's Landing type of thing.
Yeah.
It's not, maybe not quite that big, but something along the lines of that. So anything you would wish to do upon arriving?
Hmm.
Um, I trying to think. These were all like named men. I want to find essentially whoever the equivalent of the captain of the guard is.
Yeah,
Um, uh, and I'm just gonna let them know uh that we came upon some guardsmen in dire straits, and that they are uh that they have they're I'm gonna let them know that everybody's dead. But that's what I'm doing first.
yeah. So you go to not necessarily the town guard, but you
Yeah.
go to the like kind of like where the main like fortress is within there, where the banquet nights like kind of like his kind of keep within the city. And as you go up and kind of out by the like, there's another set of walls kind of around that are like smaller, but they're nonetheless, there is like kind of a guard building nearby, and you would know his name men mostly to just be like people that maybe were guards that like for whatever reason is like have made a name, like their stories have been told about them and the things that they have done in some way,
Yeah.
to where they're just kind of like his private goons rather than being like somebody that has like the full responsibility of the guard.
Yeah.
But this is the guy you see he introduces himself. He's like, hello, my name is Ransby. You assume you have come to seek lodging and hospitality with the banquet night.
We have, but also to make the report that a party of men from the holding are dead in the woods.
What? How?
A party of men from the holding are dead in the woods.
Oh, they were supposed to come right here. Okay. Okay. And it kind of goes through the process of asking you to give a description of all the people. And the more that you like give descriptions of the people, the more stressed begins to look, and says, okay, okay,
You seem
I,
nervous.
I'm not nervous. You're nervous. Okay, maybe I am, but it's been a long day. We've been very short staffed, and we could come with me. I'll show you to your rooms. And then he looks. Are the rest of you there, or are you somewhere else?
I,
You can be somewhere else if you don't want to be there.
I didn't have anything else to do
Okay.
here
Okay.
at this point, so I think I'm
Sure.
here
Sure.
as well.
Okay.
I'm probably somewhere else. I have nothing
Okay.
I want to do.
He says, "Is this all of you? No.
Uh,
That's
there's
okay.
a
I'll
num-
take.
There's
I'll take
another
you
member of our
anyways.
company. Oh my goodness.
I'll take you anyways." And he's immediately starts to go to opens the gate to take you guys in, and he flags somebody else down to kind of like speaks with them, and they kind of are like getting into it a little bit, and he's like, go get him. He's like, I will take you to your accommodations, and the banquet night will come speak with you. uh, and it kind of leads you through the halls a little bit, and if
What
there's
is
anything you want to say to him as he's kind of doing this, you can.
Do you need additional help?
um I don't think we need help per se. It's just how the after these feasts, the people can get quite rowdy. We kind of just need men around, and the one you kind of get that he's like dodging words that you think that like your
Mhm.
assumption previously of like, oh, I wonder if they were sent to bring the seer. Like you get a sense that these were not just guys that were coming in for this, like they were maybe sent to do something in particular, and
Yeah.
you have there a wrench has been thrown in the plans, and he's like, I don't, it's kind of all above my pay grade, and I'm afraid to tell
Mhm.
anybody about it. It's like really the feel that you're getting from him. So he's kind of just like the banquet night will speak with you
Yes, but
later.
if you need hands, Arlo,
Oh,
help.
and then he looks at Arlo, who's just so defeated. Uh, and he says, "Yes, sir. I may help you with whatever it needs to be helped." And he says, "Go to the kitchen." He goes, "I shot someone with a bow today. I'm more capable. Go to the kitchens." And then Arlo kind of looks back at you.
Arlo, pay attention for any nightly lessons you might learn while working in the kitchen.
He kind of perks up for a second. He says, "Right to the kitchens, yes, sir." And he like kind of gives you a wink that's like, when kids wink at you and they're like the really obvious wink.
And we're
He
like,
does one
yes,
of those. Yes, yeah, he does one
yes.
of those, and then he goes off, and the guard is kind of like sends him with somebody else. It's like, okay, but he takes you through. There's like the main walls kind of around it, and then takes you in. If you go to the left once you walk in, it takes you down. There's essentially like an area where there's accommodations, and he brings you to this area where like it's like a chamber that you go in, and it's got like a small fireplace and couch, and then there's like a few rooms. There's like somewhere in the corner Arlo could sleep, and then each of you get like your own kind of room. They're like little suites
Ye old nightly
within.
suite.
Yeah, that's
The
right.
old
That's
nightly
right.
suite.
Yeah, that's right. It's the nightly suite. Kind of brings you, says that the banquet night will be by shortly to see. Feel free to wander the grounds as you wish. Um, Tomorrow the banquet will commence in the early evening.
Are there
And
any?
what are we celebrating again?
Ah, yes, the hunting of the great stag, the stag of the wood.
Of course,
He's been hunting it for years, don't you know?
a noble's kill.
Yes, of course. Only the greatest hunter would be able to hunt such a thing. Don't you agree? Are you not excited to eat of it as well?
Um, the hunting of or the capture of?
Oh no, it was a hunt. It was a hunt that they found it. Yes.
Mhm. Are there any places within your keep where one who is not quite used to such stuffy, cramped spaces? Garden,
Oh yes, there's a garden
anything,
indeed. There's a very large garden.
of course. How might one find it?
Uh, Out straight down that way, out the door to the side. The stables, if you see them, that's just nearby.
Much appreciated.
Mhm. Thank you. He'll be by to see you at some point in the next few hours, I imagine, or if not, first thing in the morning.
Okay.
And so he leaves you be, um, and walks off. So kind of leaves you to your own devices here, and it's a pretty nice place. Um, yeah, and he did seem very excited to like actually like go to the feast, and he was like, "Yeah, we're all gonna get to eat the stag. It's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome. I'm very excited." Um, which to you guys is probably a little bit, with the information you have, is maybe a little different. But he seems to just be very excited, and the mood as like there's as you're kind of walking around, there are just like people coming in and out of doors everywhere, running around doing things. Like this is the last, you're witnessing the last few minutes of planning before the party begins, and everybody seems to be in like pretty good spirits overall. Um, so. Uh,
I don't like it.
It is the most awkward arrival at a keep I think I've ever had.
Yes. They most certainly knew something about the men in the woods.
Yes.
you hear a knock on the door pretty quickly after. Apologies to me interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's
No,
all I
no.
had. It was
Yeah.
just-
Comes the knock on the door pretty quickly, and you see the banquet night is there, like already. Um, And he says, "Ah, fine guess. I I suppose your travel wasn't too arduous."
Travel is always an endurance.
As it does. I don't travel as well these days. And he like pats his belly. You see, he's not wearing any armor, but he's got like his like nice velvet kind of robes on. He's got kind of like long black unkempt hair and a long kind of like bushy beard. And he looks like he feasts personally regularly. He's quite the large fellow. And he doesn't look like he is out there like seeking myths and honoring seers. He's in his keep eating and ruling.
He's protecting the realm.
Yeah, he's protecting the realm. Yes, yeah,
Protecting
his
it.
yeah, his great. You do know that there's like, and there's like, he's the kind of person that maybe you haven't met before, but you've heard the songs where like the minstrels talk about like his greatest weapon being his fork, and like there's all sorts of things where like people kind of they clown on him a little bit, but also like he does throw banquets, and like even though not everyone gets invited, the peasantry also like they kind of throw a more moderate feast for everyone. So he's kind of like he's not great at his job, but he throws a good party, and people tend to have like some they're kind of that's kind of their take on him overall as a ruler. Is he's okay, but the feasts are great. They're good. He says, long journeys as they are, yes, but I'm glad you've made it in time.
Yes, for celebrating the hunt.
Yes, the great hunt. I've
Tell-
been go ahead.
Tell me about this hunt that you did.
Yeah, so it was me and four of my men, and we were journeying through the woods for days. It was not until probably the second day that we saw off in the distance the albino stag. We rode after him and lost him, but the second day we found the great beast, and my squire came around from behind and chased him towards me, and then I impaled it with my spear.
A simple hunt, a simple kill.
Many great hunters speak of needing much skill, but really it's about finding the thing and just simple execution.
You say you were riding for days,
Mhm.
and you found them on the second.
Sure, yes, but
It's 2 days.
this is a long 2 days.
A long 2
My
days.
back isn't what it used to be.
I see. Where did you strike it?
Just off to the east, and he points not to the east. He says that way to the east about 2 days. Is when we found it.
Surely you must be mistaken. That is the west.
Indeed, I must be. I must be. Well, it's been good seeing you all. I'd look to see you at the feast tomorrow. Good day to you all. We can have something brought up to your rooms, and you should know that your steeds have been well looking after. In fact, the stable boy has already made mention of the fine. What is Sir Vala? What's your horse's name?
Glimmer.
Glimmer is a fine horse, one of the finest we've seen.
Hmm.
Like to keep him myself someday if I could. And he gives like a really awkward laugh on his way out, and he's like, "Good night to you all," and starts to walk off. He's very awkward, very on his back foot.
As he is like leaving and the door is closed, I'm going to go up towards the door and like hold on to the handle of it, and then Nutty is there. I'm just going to go follow him to his chambers or wherever he goes.
Yes,
Let us know what he says.
I will follow him. No, I will return with news.
And I'll like open the door like slightly so that it doesn't make like a lot of noise, so that
yeah,
you can just go out and then slowly close it again.
yeah. You see him
Worry
run with
about
like
Nutty.
nuts in his cheeks, just running out. And you do see somebody. There's someone walking with like a serving tray, and they're like, "Oh, as like it kind of runs between their legs. They're running around trying to do things, and people are like, "What is happening?" Um,
Where'd
but
the squirrel come from?
takes off. Takes off. Ferdinand, anything that you want to do while you're around?
Yeah, I was wondering if there's like a market
Yeah, there's
where people
absolutely
are
a
selling
market.
stuff. Yeah.
Sure, sure,
It doesn't need to be like a whole scene or anything. I kind of want to
sure.
get a feel from people. Apart from being excited about the banquet, um, do like the common people notice that things are happening with the woods? Are there
Yes,
vendors there? Okay, they do.
sure.
And then is it also impacting like their crops, their fields, or anything like that, or is it just the wilderness that is being affected?
Yeah, can you give me a D8 real quick?
Sure. Got an 8. It's
Ooh,
either good or
okay.
bad.
Yes, yes. So you got you have you're kind of like walking around and talking to people in town and throwing a little bit of like change out here and there, and you know buying like little things like just buy an apple from a stall, hear what people are saying, talk to them, and you get the sense that the hunters are kind of worried about like what's going on. The game has been like far less recently out in the woods. There's the crops here is it's not like a super crop heavy environment, but like the people that go out in the woods to hunt have like not been finding like a lot of game recently, and what they have been finding has been like very thin and like malnourished, and that's kind of what you're seeing.
How
um
long has it been going on?
they say that it's probably been going on for about like there was a sharp change probably about a week ago
Okay.
when it was just almost like overnight things started to shift. um
Okay.
you do also hear with that 8 that there's some people that are kind of like sitting around on some crates outside the market that are just kind of like passing a flask like a big like what like bladder of wine around each other, and you hear one of them say, this whole banquet's just like a sham, right? And then this woman's like, well, what do you mean? And then another one, she's like, well, I heard that apparently this is just a distraction, that there's an army nearby that are just using it as an excuse to sneak in and take the holding. And somebody's like, that's ridiculous. And they're like, no, 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 I heard that there were men seen in the woods recently. And so like there's just like this rumor that's kind of like
Mm.
it's kind of going around. Some people believe it, some people don't, but it seems to be some of the talk of like not necessarily the most like trustworthy people in town, but like nonetheless, it is being rumor being circulated. So
Okay. Is there like consistency between like like are they wearing a certain coat of arms or livery or something
no,
like
these are
that?
just like
Yeah.
peasantry people. These are just people that are just kind of like they're maybe they sometimes they sell things in this market. Maybe they're just here to purchase things and they found
Yeah.
some people they knew.
Sorry,
Um,
I meant about the people
oh,
that are supposedly in the forest
oh yeah. If you go
or
ask them,
or an army or whatever.
they said that it was someone with an unfamiliar crest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Is there anything else you guys think I should ask while I'm around all these other people?
No, I think you did a great job.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Um, so if that's kind of what you're looking to do, Sir, hold on here, Sir Valo, is there
Mhm.
anything you're looking to do while, and then we'll come back to Nutty and what Nutty has found.
Oh, I got a nice little I got a nice little shiner from the combat. So I am
That's right.
mostly taking it easy for the following day
Okay,
in
I
order
see.
to regain my vigor.
Okay, gotcha. Perfect. So you will say called in, you're kind of just, I know you mentioned the gardens, and so we'll say maybe you're out in the gardens kind of just like taking a walk, and they're quite nice.
Yeah.
There's some large trees there. It's a little bit more naturalist than you probably would have like expected it to be. Like they just kind of like let it like kind of let stuff grow, a lot of
Mm.
wildflowers and such. But as you're kind of you're going out there, you notice that there is a woman that's like dressed in like very nice clothing, and then another woman that's wearing like a guard uniform, and you can see that they're kind of like uh, the one that's wearing the, or not guard uniform, wearing like kind of like a smaller like a, looks like maybe a squire that's in like well armored,
Yeah.
well armored squire. They're kind of like they're not arguing, but they're having like very intense conversation. And then the one that looks like she might be a squire, you see kind of like scurries off. And then the woman that's like in the nice heraldry, she has the crest of the banquet night on there. She like sees you and gives you like a wave and kind of like walks off. But then you do see Nutty like is like in the tree and climbs down the tree and says, "Hey, I followed him and I found some good stuff."
Well, please
Says,
let
"So
me
look,"
know.
and he pulls out of his mouth. He pulls like, "I found some almonds and I found some cherries and cherry pits."
Oh, very
Yes.
delicious, Nutty. But what did you learn?
Oh yes, yeah, no, he absolutely has uh sent men to go find the seer. I think he is concerned about what happened with the stag. I think that he maybe thinks he should not have hunted it. He is going to proceed anyways because his ego demands it. But
Of
I think he was looking for more information than he would get, and it was implied that he thought the seer might not see him willingly.
some night.
Yeah, sure is. And he just like looks up at the stars.
The other kind of night, Nutty.
Ah,
But
yes, 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 yes.
I also don't think you're wrong. Hmm, troubling.
Better get some rest. It's a long day tomorrow.
Yes. Perhaps we will sleep under the stars tonight. I don't know if that room, as stuffy as it is going to give us the peace of mind we'll need for tomorrow.
And then he goes, "I agree," and kind of like curls up on your chest and says, like looks around at like the tree and the like nice cushy grass and says, "You can't buy good taste, that's for sure." And just lays down and the curls up in the grass with you and
Yeah, I think we just
the
kind of
soft.
find a place that, like, if you were walking the path of this garden, you wouldn't immediately see
Right, right, right.
us. So just like off in the grass, and like, yeah, 100% takes the pelts off to like make like a little pillow for
Yeah,
himself to just kind
yeah,
of lay back with Nutty here, feeding Nutty like some seeds and stuff,
lovely.
taking a couple for himself as well.
Okay, so the night has passed. You have recovered all of your stats. So if you had anything that was low, like your vigor, if you had taken any damage, or your guard, I think your rest should allow you to get that back. Did anybody take like spirit, or I think those are the ones that
I don't think I took any damage.
Yeah,
because some of
spirit. It
this
depends on some of them, but yeah, spirit's the one that you usually have to do
you
your
have to do your
passion for.
passion.
And then did somebody get fatigued?
I did get fatigued for failing the deny save,
Yeah.
That's right.
so I assume that
Double check
gets
here.
cleared.
Yes, that does get cleared.
Cool.
Let's
With
see.
the social combat and fatigue, is it the same fatigue? Like if you fail a vigor save, is it the same fatigue,
That's kind of
or is
how
it
I've been doing it. Yeah, is that
okay?
you're fatigued is kind of just that it all is they're
Okay,
all feats and they all imply the same
yeah,
condition. Yeah.
cool.
Is someone who
Cool.
gets mentally and emotionally fatigued far more than physically?
Yeah.
I
I'm
believe
very easily
it's all.
fatigued.
It's
I'm,
all the
I,
same. It's all the
so
same.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
fatigued.
I
yeah,
just
so
want.
vigor is restored by consuming sustenance or spending a full day in warm hospitality. So we'll say by the time the feast arrives, you will have had like the majority of the day and good, much better than average quarters, etc. Clarity is restored by consuming a stimulant or receiving guidance from a seer. So you did get that if you had lost any of that previously. And then spirit is by following your passion. So um, perfect. Okay. So you all wake up refreshed in your rooms or in your wood in the gardens, and you see that the chaos of the the area has only heightened as they're like in the big great hall area. They're setting out like a long table, and then you can see just outside the walls there's like a long cobblestone street that kind of like leads up to the to like the gates of where like the actual quarters of the banquet night is. And you can see there's a very long table that's being set out there that's much more um mundane, but nonetheless it's being set up like in the street outside for all of the peasantry to come in and kind of enjoy as well. So people are kind of bustling around and doing those types of things. Is if there's not anything else anybody wants to do, we can kind of skip right up to the evening of the feast. But of course, I will never stop you from doing something that you would
Um,
like to pop in and do.
I want to check. Like, he said he went out with his men. Uh, and so I'm assuming that the people who went on the hunt with him were other named men.
Sure.
I want to kind of check in with whoever like the record keeper archivist of the hold is.
Yeah.
Just to kind of see like one, how competent did they seem? Also, two, or how influenced did they seem? But also like, I want to check in a little bit more about the albino stag and the kind of like background
Yeah.
of them.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so there is a fellow named Edward. He's the guy that like kind of has the archives. Would you mind giving me 2d12 for, let's just like roll on a spark table here for some
Yeah.
stuff. I pre-rolled some spark
7,
table
3.
stuff, but let's 7 and 3. Okay. And so oh, okay, interesting. Let's flip it. Okay. So you go to see the archivist, and he's got a bunch of books. It's not as large as you might hope it to be, but comes in, and then as soon as what do you say? He's got like long, like he's got kind of these like small like half moon glasses on him, and he's a lot larger in terms of like he looks like he goes to the gym regularly.
This is I did
For a
realize
book
this
guy.
is me. This is the equivalent of me going to like a party college and being like, I want to check out the library.
Yeah.
This is about what I expected. Greetings. I was curious about with the festivities coming up and wanting to properly honor the banquet night. I was curious what the history of the albino stag is and how this hunt came to be.
Yes, the hunt. The albino stag is there's not much that's formally written about him, but we or the creature itself, but we know that they are in some capacity a rare and kind of what do you call it, deformity, not the right word because it's beautiful of course, but it's a natural occurring thing, albinism in nature. And so that's kind of what we know of the stag itself. There's not much other. There's myths of it being something mysterious like a unicorn, those types of things, but personally I just find it to be a mundane creature with a quite beautiful differentiator.
Have you seen it?
Oh, I've seen pictures, and he pulls out a book that you can see of it, and it's basically just like a medieval like lithograph of like this like stag in the woods, and people are like, oh, like trying to chase it, and it's just like we've known of it for a long time. It must be quite old at this point.
Right. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. It was captured, correct? Was the hunt? They hunted it and killed it and brought it back, correct?
Sure. Yeah, it's been captured, but or I mean, it was hunted, but there must be more of them, correct? I mean, from a scientific perspective, it's you're getting like the sense of this. There's not like a ton of like defined lore around this thing.
Oh no,
in,
that's
like,
fine. I
The
think
records here,
Yeah.
but he's very much like he's much more interested in the scientific side of this thing. And anytime you mention the banquet night, he kind of scrunches his nose and he pushes the glasses back.
No,
up.
I think you seem to be a person of great curiosity, but that seems to not have included going to see the stag itself when its body was brought back.
No, I have not actually. I was blocked from doing so. They didn't want me to see it. Apparently, there's something about the surprise and the feast, and I think find it all to be quite excess. Anyways,
Hmm.
I view food mostly as sustenance.
That is the
He
primary
looks at you
function
very
of food.
intently.
He's drinking Yale Fantasy Huel off to the side.
Yeah, yes, exactly. He's like pure only liquid shakes. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, he's like it does. It's true.
Who was the one who prevented you from seeing it? I mean, ostensibly the Lord, but I mean, who specifically blocked you?
It was the head chef. The head chef. He said that his kitchen staff was busy, and that there was strict word from the banquet knight himself that no one was to see it until it was revealed dressed at the banquet.
I'll thank him and
Yeah.
depart.
Okay.
That's
Gotcha.
great. But then we'll send a message to have Arlo come see
Okay.
whoever
Yeah.
wants to be there after
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
spent some time in the
Ooh,
kitchen.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
So okay. Anything? Anybody else want to do anything?
I think at some point during this like morning, I do meet with both of you to let you know what I learned from Nutty. That um, the men that were sent in the woods, I'll just. So it seems our banquet night might have some regrets over the slaying of the stag, and the men we saw was sent specifically to procure the seer to hopefully give the banquet night more information about the consequences of his actions.
Uh, that that tracks with everything I have picked up from our dear host in conversation with his archivist and well his general bearing. He seems someone who often bites off more than he can chew.
I've found a strange wrinkle that doesn't seem to align with what we found so far, which is that there's rumors going around that there is some enemy force outside the city walls uh, with strange markings, a strange coat of arms not recognized, uh, that is using the banquet as a ruse, sneaking in among with the guests in order to make a play. It's a
Hmm.
rumor, right? It wasn't written on the stars, at least not the ones that I saw last night. Um,
Does the banquet night have any enemies other than the forest itself?
it's a fair question.
Hmm. I think we need to see if we can find these hunters the knight claims to have gone out with. Maybe if they're alone, away from their lord, or maybe later when they're deep in their cups, they will be more loose with their tongues.
You do remember too that it was mentioned that like the only person that he specifically mentioned by name was her name is Matra, and she's his squire. Um, and you know that she
Hmm.
was mentioned as like kind of driving the stag kind of like towards him to be able to slay.
Yes.
So that's at least like one person that like you have a name of that is was not been like vaguely referenced,
Yeah.
that you could kind of dig into.
Perhaps that might be the squire I saw last night. Though I, last night while I was sleeping in the gardens, which I must recommend you all do at least once before we leave, there was a squire, a woman, two women, a squire and one who seemed to hold the emblem of the banquet night, having a very tense conversation, words being spoken, and it seemed like the squire was sent off to perform some duties or other. I didn't follow. But the anxiety around it for a night of a great banquet when everyone else seems to be more jubilant. Perhaps it's something to look into.
Any word from Arlo? He could be our in. squire to squire.
Mm. Turns to you, since it turns to you, Sir Valos, since you're the one I think who keeps the closest eye on Arlo between the three of us.
I mean, do
Yeah,
we
you
want
want to bring him? You
do
want
we
to bring
want to
him
knock,
around?
knock, knock right then as Arlo shows up?
Yeah. Hell, I'm back. I'm back. I have found out a great many things about cooking mostly, but I have found a few other things that might be more useful to you that I can share. Um, I think it's very strange that they've dressed the stag and it's on the table, but it's very unsettling.
In what way?
I mean, they put the skin back on it. It looks like a stag. I was told that should when they cut it underneath it was fully cooked. I don't know how they've done it. I imagine they've stitched some other form of white fur over the top of it. It's quite a weird thing, but um, I did do something quite unusual on accident. Um, I I I accidentally ate a bit of it. It was it was in a piece that they had carved off. They did not use all of it. And they were making something for the kitchen staff. And I started to hear whispers, just the voice in my head, drawing me in. It made me very uncomfortable, so I left almost immediately and found myself here. But felt
Yeah.
a goosebumps, as one might say, as after the fact, getting close to it.
And
I
what
don't
were
think we should eat it.
whispers?
Whispers, but in my mind. I don't have the words for these things. They're not.
Well, well, what did they say?
They they were telling me things like, the one who slayed me is not who they say they are, or they were whispering to me things of my own that I know to be true from my life that I've never shared with another, or things from those else in the kitchen and their secrets too. I Nothing that would be revealing of the banquet night or any of his his group, but things that the kitchen staff would not wish me to know of them, private things. It makes me concerned.
That is quite concerning.
Well, you've done quite well, Arlo. I think the solution is quite simple. We need to procure a piece of this meat, be in the same room as the banquet night, and take a bite. His secrets will be exposed. Surely that's how it works.
I mean, isn't that already going to happen in a few hours?
Yeah, you hear a bell ring, and you hear 15 minutes from now, dinner is going to be served, and people start like getting you to roll in, and you look and you think, wow, look at the time. It's already the late afternoon. It's a banquet that starts at around 4 p.m., I would say. And it's getting into the late afternoon. So you're starting to see people be gathered in for the banquet. So um, as this is happening, this is probably a good time to take a break if we want to hop up and grab
Also,
some
my
water.
mic's
And
misbehaving. So yeah, let's go ahead and
So I
take
say
a
we can
short
fix
little
the mic,
break,
too.
and we'll be right back to keep on playing A House the Date itself.
all right.
And we are live again playing A House That Ate Itself, Social Combat and Intrigue for Mythic Bastionland. New supplement that's live over on SideQuest right now. If folks want to go check it out, you can use the pinned link in Twitch or the link in the description, but it is also ttrpg.link/house that ate is the short link that'll take you right over there to check it out. So with that said, we heard, I think, do we hear a bell toll? Was that what I recall?
We
correct?
do. There is a bell toll happening, and you see people start to. Anyone that was scurrying is now. What's faster than scurrying? Running. They're running to their places. They're trying to finish the last of the things. You see the doors to the hall kind of nearby. There's that hallway that your little suite is in. The main hall that it leads off of, the doors open and people begin flooding in velvet and silk and nice clothing. You see people come in armor. You see other people come in that look like they are more of the named men, so to speak. Some folks like that, but it's a blend of kind of like nobles and people in armor, relatively various crests. This table is a long table. It has probably about 100 people. It looks like are going to be at this feast as a whole, and you find yourselves seated closer to the heads of the table. It seems to be like the banquet knight and then a couple key people that are around him, and then knights, and then some like a few nobles scattered in. But the further down you go on the table, like kind of the less in regard you see more knights as well that you would maybe know or have seen around. Maybe further down the table, more of like a knight errant or like a hedge knight, like people that are more kind of just less in renown, maybe less worthy of a place in court, but have come nonetheless. And so you see people kind of sitting down at the tables. So what we're going to do is let's quickly use some spark tables, and I would love to just generate a person or two that each of you is sitting next to, just so we have some more people up in here.
Oh, yeah.
So if I could get 2d12 from each of you, I will go ahead and start to throw some people together, and then we will be in a good spot. So 2d12s.
7
These
and
spark
8.
tables are the best.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
All right, where's my people? 7 and 8.
I got a 4 and a 2.
So let's start with Jesse. Jesse, you got 7 and 8, or
Mhm.
I should have your knight name somewhere easier. This
Ferdinand.
I did
Ferdinand.
put
should
them in
know.
on the top level of our also too.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh,
I put
smart.
my GM stuff in our board so far from everything else, so you wouldn't accidentally see it, and maybe I should have just put it all closer. Okay, so you said I apologize, Jesse. What were those numbers? 7 and what?
7 and 8. Yeah.
Okay, so 7. So you are sitting next to a we'll call it an intimate or a harmonious successor. That we'll use that combination of 7 and 8, and so we'll actually call that that will be Matra. So you're sitting right next to the squire, which you find out in some casual conversation as everyone's sitting down is actually the knight of, or the daughter of the banquet knight. His squire is his daughter. Let's see here. How about Sir Valo? Who are you sitting next to?
I mean, as Jake Peralta would say, I got the 9-9.
9-9. All right. So let's do
Twins.
Yeah. So we'll say. So you're sitting next to a fellow named. Let's see what his name might be. Here, where's my names table? His name is Chandler Zathi, and Chandler is a former mentor of the banquet night.
What was the last name?
Oh, geez.
Zafi?
Zathi.
Zathi, I think, yes.
Zafi. Like, is this a knight who they were a squire underneath, or is this another type of mentor?
Yeah, I think it was like a knight that they were squire, or maybe it was more of like a like the weapons master that is like a little bit more Sun Tzu than like
Gotcha.
swing your sword this way,
Gotcha. They're a Gurney Halleck type.
Yes, exactly,
So.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't seem to be doing much weapons training anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. And then finally, to you, Carlton, what did you roll?
I got a 4 and a 2.
4 and a 2. Yeah. So we will say you are sitting next to Gant Trimsler, which is
Gant
that rolled
Trimsler.
former friend. So this is like this is a knight that's like the former friend of the like, or I got estranged friend, I think it was what it was.
Mhm.
So this you speak with them a little bit, and Gant is pretty tight-lipped about, you're like, nice beast, huh? He's like, mm-hmm. Just very, very like, I am here due to obligation. As soon as they see some of like the named men sit down, kind of has a bit of a like a look on his face, like he's unhappy with. He doesn't necessarily want to be here, but such is the life of obligation, right?
Of course. I
You
think,
also go
yeah.
ahead. No,
No, I
no,
was
go
going
ahead.
to say,
Go
I
ahead.
think me and him are sitting there with very similar kind of demeanors of like, I don't want to be here. Him for very different reasons. He doesn't like these people. I don't like banquet halls.
Yeah.
Kendo, you can go down a touch more now.
I can't.
also,
Okay,
too.
cool. Yeah, that's what I figured.
It's just the way of things.
It's just the
okay.
way of things.
All right, and then you do see next to excuse me, sitting next to the banquet night, uh is it called in, right? Called in. When you were out in the garden, saw the woman that was being spoken to by the squire. You see her sit right next to the banquet night, and that looks to be his wife. um
Okay.
so all these people are kind of sitting around. You see other like nobles and knights and some of the named men and such that are all sitting down as well. And then as this is kind of happening, you see the food is beginning to be brought in. The first course, there's like a collection of pies, and like meat pies and all sorts of things. And there's like musicians are now beginning to play. And the banquet knight stands up and says, "Thank you all for coming to my wonderful feast. I know that we have a bit of a reputation here for throwing a good party," and like people start to cheer, and then he says, "But this one is special. This is a stag I have been hunting for a long time, 10 plus years at this point, and I'm very proud to have been able to bring it to you all and share it with you all today, because what are we but not a family?" And like a bunch of people cheer, and there's a bunch of people that like don't say anything. This finding it somewhat disingenuous. And he says, "Well, I won't speak too much because you didn't come here to listen to me talk. You came here to eat a rare beast and a bunch of other fine things," and gestures to the table. He says, but let the feast commence. And then a bunch of people raise their glasses, and he claps, and you hear the music start to go. Uh, all the pies get brought out. There's a bunch of like just like sweets and food, and just like there's like turkey. Everything that you could imagine has been brought out at this feast. And so as people are beginning to eat, you hear some of the music going, and there's like a minstrel that is kind of singing. And Ferdinand, you kind of start to hear this as the singing is happening, and because you're the rune knight, you can tell when like something portentous is about to happen, or like is
Mm-hmm.
happening.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice that the song that is being sung is like about the eating of the feast, and also like mentions of like war across the kingdom, which feels like very like, oh, I haven't heard anything about that since. But as soon as the minstrel mentions, like, there's a part where it rhymes, and they say the like the serving of the stag in front of all of you, you immediately see out of the pies a bunch of blackbirds bust out of these pies, and people start clapping until they start pecking at people, like they start attacking people. And then it's like not full chaos, but people start bringing out, so each one of you has a bird that is like coming in and like pecking at you, coming at us. You make a can I have you guys make a clarity test real
Oof.
quick, just to see if you get out ahead of this thing coming to bite you or not.
I think we're at the wrong end of this feast.
Okay.
Ooh.
So my clarity
Oh,
is 7, and so I'm always prepared.
Did you
I
get
failed.
I did. I got 6.
it? Okay, got it.
15 under 17.
I got a
Awesome.
17, so that's not good.
Okay, so you so the those of you that see this coming, like how do you so Calden and Servalo, you manage to actually like draw your weapon before this bird like comes to you, or you do something with it. How do you? You don't have to kill it, but like
Yeah.
how do you make it to where this thing doesn't bite you? And then we'll get to you, Jesse.
I
Um,
think.
go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. No, you first.
I will. I think I see like something like poking at the top, like of like my
Hmm.
pie and the pie of. And I think like there is a moment at which I see like a beak like just like come out and like there. Look, here's the deal. In the realm, there's all kinds of interesting pies that get served.
Sure.
But at no point should a live animal be coming out of a dish. So I just grab like literally just grab the serving like the tray top from like a server nearby and just like slam it down and we just hear the
On top of it,
yeah, and
yeah,
we just hear
yeah.
the clang underneath as this thing tries to erupt out of my pie.
All right, Calden.
Um, yeah, I think for Calden, like, see similarly, like, starts to see this happen, and when the bird comes out, I think there is just like a quick like grab, right, a
Hmm.
snaring of it as
Yeah.
like around the body, not tight enough to squeeze and to harm it, but enough to hold it and and prevent it. And then just like bringing it like kind of like, well, you shouldn't be here, little one, and then reaches into his thing and pulls out some seeds to like see to try to calm it right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. It eats it, and then you see it fly up into the rafters and just kind of find itself a little home up there.
Mhm. If I was if I if I had any missing spirit, I'd be able to get some back, since that is my passion.
Awesome,
I restore spirit when I spare the life of a hostile animal.
fantastic. All right.
How's the banquet night responding to
Ooh,
this?
good
Are they
question.
equally like are they dealing with a uh
They look
blackbird?
stone cold as all this is happening, and no birds have necessarily like come to them. But you actually see stone cold and is just staring because the stag is on the like the stag has not been brought out yet, but you can see him just staring straight down the table like all the way down. And if you follow his eyes, you look at the double doors and you see that they've been opened up. And as is happening, there's a bunch of people bringing in the stag like on a thing, and he's just looking it in the eyes, stone cold, as the birds are attacking everybody else. And there's like he seems quite calm and focused in the chaos as he's watching. He's staring down this stag that you're now noticing is just about to be brought out for the next course. They seem to have stopped at the door though while this is happening to be like, I'm going to wait until this is resolved itself in a lot of ways. And you do see other people pulling weapons out and just kind of like or grabbing them, and like there seems to be, it only lasts a minute or two before like some of them then just like start to fly off or whatever. Um, but that's what he's doing. He's staring. He's laser focused, and he looks a little stressed. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned I was like really focused on the music, so I'm
sure,
imagining I'm like sort of like in this oracle dream state kind of
sure,
thing where everything's like slowing down, the music's filling my all of my senses, and so I think notice the
yeah.
stag coming in, but I don't notice the bird, which is why I
Yeah, you see
just
a bird come right into the face, and you take a 4 damage from
ooh
this bird, but you manage to like swat it out of the way, or to like
okay
somebody nearby you takes care of them. So it's not like this isn't just like a full combat. It's just a thing that's being you're able to
sure
swat it out of the way, and that comes off your guard first,
yep
and factors in your armor as well. So
okay
so that happens, and everything is like there's also like kind of like guards that are nearby at the feast that are standing on the back wall that come to deal with this thing. uh, and the after that all the like all the music is kind of stopped and people are kind of looking around, at the banquet night just goes, let us proceed with the next course, just like very calmly and focused. And they start removing some of the pies. This is after like a few more minutes, and then you see them coming in now with the stag on the plate, and they put it at the center of the table. And just like Arlo said, it seems as if they have like dressed this thing. Like they have like it looks like if a stag was just laying on the table. Does not look like it is like ready to be eaten. It's quite large. It's got its antlers. It's like actually pretty close to the uh to the banquet night in terms of the table. You guys aren't super far from it at all. And you see somebody come up and they start like slicing into it, kind of like prime rib style, and like bringing you out like a chunk. It's got the fur on like the sides of it too that you kind of have to like pull off. But like as they're bringing it out, people are ooh ah, like people are applauding, and you can tell it's like this is the type of feast that is you're realizing the reason people speak so highly of his feasts are less because the food is just excellent and more because it's like it's like an experience. Like the music is good, the food like looks like it should be alive. Like all those types of things are at play here. um
Is it obvious how the stag was killed, like where it was stabbed?
yeah, you make a clarity test and I'll see if we can figure out how this might be.
I fail.
No. Yeah, so you're looking at it and it looks like you're trying to figure out where it might have been killed from, but it looks like whatever, like they skinned it and then they cooked it and then they redressed it with something else. So like the original markings would not have been, yeah, like you look like, and it doesn't look like the fur is necessarily like exactly like like there's been some sort of like I don't know, trickery. Not they've played some clever culinary tricks here to kind of put this together. It's like the equivalent. Have you ever seen Is It Cake?
Okay.
This is like kind of like that,
Yeah.
where you're like, I don't really know how they did this, but there's like somebody. If you ask the head chef, I'm sure they would talk your ear off about it for days.
It's just all
But
fondant. Oh.
yeah, exactly. It's all fondant. That's exactly what it is. But they've been able to hide the marking quite well. So
I mainly because I want to get into some of the mechanics of the
Yeah.
this specific social. I'm going to press Chandler on to try to find a little bit more information out about this. I mean, we can just start with the conversation if he's willing.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like, we don't have to invoke.
Yeah,
a mechanic,
sure.
But I want to ask him if there's a special technique that he taught the banquet night that helped him overcome this fine beast, and see, basically just try to pump him for information.
Yeah. So at this point, before we do that, at this point they've been serving the stag like slices of it. Do you guys eat any of it, or do you wait?
My answer is hell no.
You're waiting?
I think I also wait. I mean, we only know one person who's eaten it, and they said, "Yeah, I ate it, and I started hearing whispers." So I'm gonna
gonna
hold
wait.
off. Yeah.
I'm waiting because I see that they're waiting, but I'm definitely going to eat it. I'm
Okay.
curious.
You're gonna
Yeah.
yeah. He does mention to you. He says, "Sure. Yeah. There's definitely some. I heard that he pierced it with a spear, but I never trained him with a spear. I've never seen him use one in his life." He says. He says it quite like loudly, and you actually see the banquet knight kind of like gives him a look, and is like starting to get irritated about it. And then even next to you, the squire is as this is kind of happening, you see her like looking down at her plate, and she's like being very quiet. Um,
I'll
I-
keep the conversation loud.
yeah, yeah.
What would you say his martial strengths are?
Yeah, so he's downing like he's had a couple, and he's like, I'm at the celebration. He says yeah, I would say his martial strengths are, he used to be quite good with a shield. And he's got a sneaky dagger hand, that's for sure. But his swordmanship is mediocre. But not all great knights need to be great with the sword, correct? Right? And he gestures to people, and the banquet knight says, "I think that's enough wine for you, now, Chandler. That's enough."
Well, I go ahead and tell us the story of how you fell this beast one more time.
Oh yes, so he starts going through the story again. He's explaining how like his squire like drove it like drove it through, like drove it the stag towards him, and then he took the spear out and went through it, and then you see somebody that's like eating the stag drop the fork, and they go, "Are you sure you're the one that killed it?" And he goes, "What?" And somebody else like drops their fork too and says, are you sure?" And looks at the other woman, and she's like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Is that my daughter? Is that my daughter?" And she goes, "Yes, yes." He goes, why am I hearing otherwise? And like all these people are starting to like hear secrets of other people from around the table as this is happening. And there's these little micro arguments and conversations that are happening throughout. And you see the banquet knight is sitting there, his food is fully untouched. He hasn't eaten yet, and he's just like looks like he's like sweating a little bit as this is happening. And Chandler's like starting to eat into his food now too. And you're seeing all these people, and somebody's like, surely it couldn't have been the squire, right? That killed the stag. I mean, there's no way. And then she's sitting there like as she's like eating her food and kind of like looking around. What are you guys all doing as this is kind of happening?
I take a bite. I want to eat it. Everybody's having a
Okay.
great time.
All right.
And I want to ask Matra, the squire. I want to ask her, yeah, what did you do to stalk the stag, and how did you startle it out? Like, I want to hear
Okay.
her side of the story.
Before you do that, can you make a spirit test for me?
Absolutely.
To succeed on this.
3, so I succeed.
You succeed. Okay. All right. You're good then. You don't have to do anything. But so you ask her, and she was like, as all this commotion's happening, and she says, I was just at the right place in the right time, I guess.
I heard this was an elusive beast. Took him nigh on a decade to find it, and you just happened upon it?
Yeah, I mean, it was in the woods, and I was. They were chasing it, and it ran towards me, and it stopped before me, and looked me in the eyes, and then they yelled at me, and I just before I knew it, I had. And then he goes, "That's enough. No more from you."
Let her speak.
Okay. So the banquet knight stands up at this point, and we're gonna get into a social combat here. And he stands up, and so he's about to like get in, like he stands up and he looks like he's about to yell. But what we're gonna do, the way that this starts, is it starts with what's called the statement of intent. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna decide in this situation who is going to be like, because this is kind of a duel, like who is going to be the primary person that is going to be rolling and doing the communication, and then other people are going to be able to add dice to help, and then be able to narrate kind of like what they're saying and how they're helping and guiding the conversation. So who would like to be, who's the person that's going to like kind of challenge the banquet knight in this scenario? And then we'll talk about the statement of like of intent, of what needs to what he wants and what you guys want should you win.
I mean, Calvin, you just popped up.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it? I'm also happy to do it. But
yes, I will say like right now, because I don't know what all of our intents would be as far as our goals for this combat. I know specifically Sir Calden's goal is to out him as having betrayed his oath.
Okay.
yeah, I think if I was to state an intent, my intent would be to get him to speak the truth. So I don't think.
Okay.
I think those are pretty aligned with each other,
Right.
and I'm fine. I'm fine pursuing either one.
Because the goal of these outcomes is to be very much like, what is the thing that happens? So it's like sort of like, what do you want to happen in this scenario? So do you want everyone to turn against him and realize that he is not the one that has done this, and to or do you want him to say it himself? Is that the goal?
For Sir Calden, this goes beyond the who
Okay.
killed the deer.
Okay.
This goes, you are potentially your actions have destroyed the forest, and you have dishonored a seer, right?
Okay.
Beyond the killing of this deer, this is just a point in a
Sure.
larger thing
Got
for
it.
Sir Calden.
Got it. So you want to discredit him and say like, not only have you killed the god of the wood and killed the wood, you've dishonored us here. You've basically just done everything a knight is not supposed to do, and you're
Exactly.
unfit. You're unfit to be the ruler of the holding. Okay.
Yes.
So we
that's
agree
Sir
that
Calden's
is a
intent.
good statement of purpose. Great. Okay. So his statement of purpose, what he wants is he wants you all removed from the feast before you can start to like get people to rally against him, because he is seeing that he has lost control of this room, and that people have their own petty squabbles, but he sort of, I think his situation is, wow, if I have like ruined all these people's lives by their secrets being outed and bringing them to this situation, what are they going to do to me? So get the people out of here that would put the responsibility on me.
Yeah.
is his statement of purpose, to remove you from this room and strip you of your your ability to your credibility, we'll say. Okay,
Oh yeah.
great. So we've got our statements of purpose. You guys are the knights, so the knight goes first in this situation. And so what we've got is you've got. Would you like to, Kendo, read your emotional armor and your
Yes.
emotional equipment, so that we
Yes.
know what that is?
So my emotional armor is a 2. It is compassion.
Okay.
And my emotional equipment is the mercy I gave too freely,
Okay.
which is a 2d6.
Got it. Okay. Is there a special ability on that, or is it just 2d6?
When impaired, test clarity. On a success, ignore it. So I don't
Okay.
think so. It's just
Got it.
that's my equipment.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, cool. So I mean, I think for the mercy I gave too freely, right? I think how this comes off is Sir Colden says, like, after the let her speak, right? And then like him kind
Yeah.
of getting up and says, "We have learned much in our travels here to your holding, Sir Banquet Knight. Much you have done, much you have not done, though you say you have. And now is the time for you to speak freely your sins."
Okay, so go ahead and you can now roll your. So what you're going to be rolling your wisdom die, which is going to be
Okay.
a D8, because and for those people that are watching, your wisdom dice are determined by the amount of glory that you have as a knight. So the more glory you gain and the more higher your rank as a knight goes, the more that goes up. It's not something that can be impaired. It gets rolled alongside your emotional equipment. So it's going to be a D8 plus you said you have 2D. You have 2D6.
Yes, 2d6
Okay.
for
Okay.
the other. Let me grab the second d6. I'm trying to see if I can use one of these feats. I don't know if any of the three of them. I'm not really setting a trap. I'm not using my physical stature, and I'm not rebuttaling. I don't think in this
So
moment. So
rebuttal
yeah,
is kind of a response. So
yeah,
rebuttal is
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
like a quick, like, you can use it in response to somebody doing
Gotcha.
something, and you can
It's
basically make
almost like
them take
deny,
half.
but
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of like deny, exactly.
Got
You
it.
wonder
Okay.
where I got that from, right?
Okay, cool. Then yeah, I'm just rolling
Okay.
this D8 2d6.
Okay. Okay.
Oof. That is
Okay.
a 3, a 3, and a 1.
Okay. So now, that's kind of like what you say to him. Everybody else can go ahead and roll their wisdom die to help. So the other two of you roll a d8, and then we can kind of add that as well to the pool.
I'd like to use my Destinus or wait, does it have to be one that I roll?
Is this your ability as
My
a?
ability to change a 3 to something else.
I'll let you
Um,
use. I'll let you use his 3 for something else. You have your their 3 for something else. I mean,
okay,
you can do
let's
whatever
turn
you would
one of his
like.
3s into a 6.
Okay, great. Yeah,
Cool.
that sounds great. Okay, so you got a and then if you both would roll a help die as well.
Is it just a d6?
Just a D. It's a D8. It's going to be your
D8,
wisdom
it's
die.
it's our wisdom die.
It's our wisdom.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. What'd you get?
I got a 3.
Oh, I got a
Okay.
7.
7. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
So we've got a 7. And then what were the other ones, Kendo, that you rolled?
So I had I have a 3, a 6, and a 1 now.
Okay, so we've got a 6 and a 7 that you can leverage, as one as a damage die, and then one could be a gambit.
Yeah, if I can, I'll use the 6 to what will be better, impairing his piece of emotional equipment, or yeah, let's impair him so that he
Okay.
can't come back against us. So yeah, I'll do
Okay.
that.
Okay, great.
And that'll leave the
So
7 for damage.
perfect. So 7 damage. So some of it's going to come off as armor. There's no guard in this version of this subsystem. So we'll
Mhm.
go ahead and I'm just going to start with his spirit. I'm going to remove some from the emotional armor, and then we'll pull his spirit down some. So we'll do that.
Cool.
Great. And then we're going to impair one piece of the emotional equipment. So he's got two pieces. He's got a D10 or he's
Mhm.
got a 2D4. Which one would you like to impair?
Let's go with the D10.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. So that is impaired. That is now going to be a D4. Okay.
Cool.
There we go. All right. So, and what do the two of you, other two of you, say in response as well to help with this argument? Do you want to paraphrase again, Kendo, what you said
Yeah,
previously? Because it's
yeah.
sometimes it's good to roll our dice and then we'll see what the dice say and then we'll make our
Yeah.
Of course.
argument, so to
Yeah.
speak. So
Essentially, it's we have learned much of the things you have done and the things you haven't done. And while I would be quick to enact the justice I think this demands, I would love to give you a chance to speak freely of your sins.
okay. All right.
Does Matra seem like strong, like fit as a squire? Like, does she seem highly competent?
Yeah, she looks like she's actually like quite well like trained and being, and even when you were talking to Chandler, he even mentions like that she's a far better swordsman than he ever was. You know what I mean?
Can I like fake fall, like pretend to like stumble a little bit and have her maybe catch me to like
Yeah,
just sort of demonstrate that she's like
sure. Yeah.
actually more
Absolutely.
capable than
Yeah,
her
so you
father?
go to stand up and you trip, and then she like
Yeah.
spins around and grabs you really quickly and says, "Are you okay?" She's also quite a bit taller than you. She's like
Oh,
6 foot, and she's
oh,
like a
incredible. Yeah.
pretty yeah. She catches you.
Wow, you're quite quick.
Thank you. Um, I practice quite a bit
With a
Um,
spear? Yeah.
with this. I quite like a spear. Yeah, Tony.
yeah, I think I'm going to use my. I'm gonna. Is this just narrative or is this like us?
This is kind of narrative, but it's like it's going to change how he responds, and I think it's
Gotcha.
just because ultimately this is about the narrative and like how do we get to these?
Does
How do we
anyone look
describe it?
like they are about to interject, or is like anybody look like they are about to come to his aid, or is everybody pretty?
Yeah, there's like three people that are nobles that look like they're looking at each other, and they look like they're kind of like oh, it's happening. Okay, we're supposed to come to his defense now.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I mean?
I think uh I mean, positionally, are they near me? Are they across from us? Are they?
Yeah, they're right next to you. Yeah.
I think I will. I'll reach out and just like put a hand like very firmly on like one of their shoulders and just squeeze hard enough to be like that. That would be a mistake. Like,
That would be a mistake. Okay, all right, fair. All right. So it's now going to go to the banquet night, and the banquet night has got because impaired 3d4 to roll here, and then is going to get a little bit of help from each of these people. Because of your lovely narrative there with the hand on the shoulder, I'm just going to give you an impair on that person to make them a little bit less impactful. So in terms of his ability to do so, he got his highest die is a 2 on those d4s.
Let's
And
go.
then the other person got a 2 as well. And then let's roll for the other two. Those was a 3 and a 6. So the highest die is a 6. And then the other ones were not high enough to do any sort of gambit. And so is going to go ahead and do that and say, he's going to respond to you and say, he said, "This is my table. And you ask me to reveal truths about myself? Surely that is not how you treat the host of some sort of event such as this. Someone that has brought you to this table for all this." And he like looks around, like appealing to his pride. And he goes, what he's going to do is he's going to then use he's going to use the bait kind of what's it called, the bait feat, and say like, "Surely even bringing this up shows you to be ungrateful." And the people around him are like, "Yeah." So he's going to do that, and instead of performing it, so when you use the bait feat, you can either perform a gambit without using a die, or you can regain 2 spirit. So he's going to regain 2 of his spirit, and then and set a trap for you to say like, to make it seem like whatever you say about him makes it seem like you are just like being rude to the host is his goal.
I would love for a rebuttal here.
Yeah, go
If
for it. What do you
possible.
say to rebut?
My rebut would be Yes, we are at your table, in your hold, a hold that should be held by a true knight,
Okay.
one who honors his oaths, and I have yet to see that from you.
Okay. It's a good rebuttal. So I'm gonna first roll for his first bait to see if he is exhausted. Okay. So he got an 18. So he is going to be exhausted already. So he has run himself out of his feats that he is able to use, which is not ideal. Um, but so now you've gone ahead and done this. So you reduce that by half.
Mhm.
So instead of six that you would take, you only take three.
Okay, cool.
And then he is going to make a save. I believe it's let me see what the save is that he has to make.
Spirit.
It's
It's a
spirit.
spirit test. Okay, let's see. Okay, and he fails that again, so now he takes the other three of that.
Let's
Okay,
go. So that's going to take my 2 armor, and then I'm going to take it out of
your spirit.
my spirit. Okay.
And this works the same way as kind of normal combat, where if you were to do a blow to somebody that reduces their spirit by more than half, then they will lose. The other thing that we can talk about too, that's like a mechanic here at play, is if your wisdom die is really low. Remember, once per time you can do a flashback to that memory associated with your emotional equipment and like bring it into your argument, and then from there you can re-roll that die one time. So
Got it.
I'm
Cool.
gonna bring him back up a little bit, but still he's taking a little bit here as well. And that ignores armor when we do that to him as well. So he's lowering his spirit a good bit. Okay, so you say that, and he's like, it is now your turn to speak again. You rebutted in saying that he has not appealed to his oaths and honored the seers and done these things, and that he's been sitting in his keep eating, as opposed to doing what he should be doing. And he's kind of speechless for a moment in response to that rebuttal because that's happening on his turn. So now it's go ahead and you get to make a con. What do you say while he's kind of has in this like the cat has got his tongue, so to speak?
Is it true, dear knight, that you sent your men into the nearby forest that lay dying, potentially from your own actions, to chain a seer and drag it back to your seat of power so that you may question it, knowing it would not meet with you willingly?
Okay. Go ahead and everybody roll your dice. So help die the D8 from everybody else, and then called in your wisdom die plus your equipment.
Okay. That is 2 4s and a 2.
2 4s and a 2. What everybody else get?
7.
7.
3.
3. Okay. So you've got a 7 and 2 4s. So
Can
that's
I change Tony's 3? I have 2 more uses of that. So
Yeah,
can I
yeah.
change
Go
it to
ahead.
can I change it to an 8?
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Is that how the ability works? Let me go. I was just
let me
curious.
double check how it works
It is that you can change it to yeah, it is whenever that's rolled.
any
you
other
can
value
change
on
it.
that die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I also don't know that the ability specifically makes it required that the die be able to roll that. You just pick a number and change it to that.
Pick a number and change it to that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would say probably has to be like the maximum number could be the
It would
maximum
make
number
sense
on the
to me,
die.
but it doesn't.
But I
say
think
that.
that's fair. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. It's a D8. You can pick an 8. So, okay, so what are our final numbers then? We got a 4, an 8,
And a
And a
7.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Cool. And I can use multiple of those dice for
Yeah.
gambits, correct?
And which of your what did you roll in your wisdom die?
It was a 2.
Do you want to try to re-roll it and do a flashback?
Ooh.
Tell us about the mercy.
Tell us about the mercy. Ooh,
So
okay.
what was your read your emotional equipment, and then we'll
Yeah.
flashback.
So my emotional equipment for me is the mercy I gave too freely. I feel like this isn't my first time dealing with the banquet knight. I maybe like it was like years ago. Uh Perhaps we were on a quest at some point, out, seeking the myths, as a knight ought to do. And maybe we were hunting, similar kind of thing where, we're doing our hunting to make sure that, we have food for the day. And I could like Oh boy. I think that he got like wounded during it, right? Like we were chasing like a deer, right? Um Something that should have been like simple, right? And he gets wounded as we're running through the woods, like trying to like follow it. And when we finally do take down the deer, we get to the body, and as we should pay respects to that which we hunt. Him and his anger and pride after having tripped in the chase of this thing, like comes over to the thing and like just kicks it, while it's already dead. And like in that moment, like I I very much thought to challenge him right then and there and take him off his feet, and remind him of that which we should respect. But I didn't. It had already been a rough ride of several days. We were all tense, and I did not want an unnecessary conflict between us. So I had let him go then, but it was not my first time seeing him. This is not my first time seeing him allowing his pride and ego get in the way of doing what is right, um,
Awesome.
especially to nature.
Yeah, and you kind of remember, like, think back to this memory, and you realize you're like, wow, he doesn't even remember me.
Yeah,
We had fought together, and yet, you know, like, of course, that how much, like, that's of course his pride and his hubris, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
re-roll that die real quick.
Okay,
Let's see what we get to.
that's an 8.
Oh, so two
Oh,
eights and a seven. Look at that.
that's so good. Okay, cool. I'm going to use one of the fours to. I can use multiple of these fours for gambits or just one.
Multiple of them for gambits.
Got it. I'm going to use one of them to bolster damage,
Okay.
and then I'm going to use the other one to stop an adversary from helping. Um, who amongst them him were helping him
So he has,
during his
there are
day?
like three kind of nobles that are around him that are helping.
Mhm.
One of them seems to be Ransby, the person that was at the gate, that kind of was in charge of it, of his men in some capacity. Is
Yeah.
was looked like was wearing much more like armor when you met him, but now is like pretty well dressed and looks like some higher standard. And then
Yeah.
the other people, one of them is his wife, and then there's another person that you like haven't encountered with yet, but like looks kind of like, you look at him and you're like, oh, they're a real schemy looking person, you
Yeah.
know.
I think I'm going to target um the guard. And I think what this is like me having mentioned like the people being sent out to go get the seer. Like I think like putting him in a position who's like, I don't want to touch this. I
Yeah,
don't
don't
want
talk
to
about
be a
my
part of
guys at
this.
all.
I
Right,
don't
right.
like I don't want to be a part of this. I had no. Oh no, he had people sent to go get the seer. That's crazy.
Now I'm involved. Right, right. Okay,
Yeah,
got it. So
exactly.
that's one impair. Are you going to use the big? So one. So because you have two eights, one of these has no save associated with it. So,
Oh,
so you pick. So that's kind of choosing what you want to do with those.
I'm going to reinforce my argument to regain the one spirit that I lost.
Okay. Okay.
And so that'll just give me, actually I'll use one of the fours for that, and then I'll use the 8
Okay.
for the
So
dealing
that.
more
Okay.
damage.
Got it. So I think that generally does like two damage when you're bolstering. So you do two additional, or yeah, two additional damage on top of that. Okay.
Okay, cool.
So you got an 8, and there was two additional damage on top of that, which is going to be 10.
Hmm.
Okay. And then on top of that, you've impaired somebody, and then you've regained spirit,
Yeah,
right? Or you've stopped somebody from helping.
yeah.
Okay. So that's 10 total damage. So take some of the armor off.
So much damage.
Even rounded down, that does remove half of his remaining spirit.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Nice.
So as this is happening, he's like sputtering, and he looks to Ransby. He's like, Ransby, are you not going to? And he just keeps his mouth shut, and he looks at his squire, and then he's like, aren't you going to? And then she's like, I'm the one that killed it anyways. And then he looks back at you, and then what do you say as your like final thing, as like you're starting to see, like, you hear murmurings of people being like, he brought us here for and they're like, it's an abomination, and they're like, but the woods. So what do you say as this, like, you see the whole room begin to turn against him?
gosh. Looking to what Tony put in the thing, I I think it is a version of you gathered us here in your great house to eat the spoils of your squire. Some knight you are. Just to like kind
He
of
kind of
like twist the knife in the like you're not even like an actual knight at this point. You are a craven masquerading in armor. Befits maybe your squire more than you.
so he immediately gets up and starts to like rush towards you. Like he has no weapons, but he looks like he's about to grab you. Like what the guy grabs you by the shirt. Like what do you do?
I think Nutty on my shoulder jumps on him, like grabs at his face, and
Okay.
I think the man that he is, right? He like even a squirrel is enough to get him off guard and like make him like making a fool of himself basically in
Yeah.
front of all of these people. A man not even capable of dealing with a squirrel.
Okay, so this is happening. It's like in his eyes. He's like, "Get off me!" And he's like flailing, and people are trying to grab him, and then he doesn't. Like he's like flailing away from them, and you see him like trip backwards. He's a tall man. He's over six
Mhm.
foot, and you see him this is happening. You see him fall backwards, and you see the antlers of the stag protrude through his chest as he falls back onto the table. And the music stops and it goes quiet for a moment, and everyone kind of like looks around, and you can see he's still like he's not dead, but it's kind of through him, and he's kind of like feeling at his stomach and his chest, and he looks you in the eyes and he says, this morning I thought the realm was mine, and it should have been, but and then it stops, and you see his mouth like lay open. uh and like as this is happening, people start rushing in. Like the feast is clearly over. You
Mhm.
see his like what's her name? I have her name down here, and I saw in your note you're like, what's the squire's name?
It started with an M. I just literally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matra. Yeah.
it's Matra. She's like, she stands up, she says, everyone calm down, everyone calm down. she's like she says, there was a mistake to kill this beast. I shouldn't have done it, and I'm sorry we brought you all here. She says, but these men are right. They truly are. My father was not the man he should have been. And thank you, and motions to you, for bringing this to everyone's attention. I'm sorry. And she just kind of steps back. Um,
Are there like flowers like as decorations
yeah,
anywhere
on the
here?
table, there's all sorts of
Mhm.
stuff like that.
I imagine since the forest has been dying, that there's at least one that's wilted or dead or doesn't
Hmm.
look quite pristine. And
Sure,
I want to
sure.
pick that one and I want to go put it on the knight's body,
On the knight's body.
the dead
See,
flower.
you put it on there, um, and you all hear in your kind of like in your head those kind of whispers, and you hear the forest. Remember, I guess it's just you because you're the only one that ate it, uh, um, Sir Ferdinand. But you hear the forest remembers, but forgiveness not for him. Thank you. I hope one day it will heal. And you kind of like feel a little bit of like the chill that
Mm.
like kind of had perpetually been here kind of like go away a little bit, and you're not sure what the fate of the forest is going to be in the long term, but it seems that in some way the god of the wood has found peace.
Yeah, I think he's very optimistic.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
wonder is his emotional armor. So I think he's
Sure.
optimistic.
Fantastic. Was there anything else you wish to do? The banquet night is dead. People start pulling everyone out and like trying to get this in order. It seems that like his daughter is kind of taking command of the room in some capacity and is just getting people like to like people seem to not be like drawing weapons at the fact that like their secrets have been revealed. They're very disgruntled as they're arguing with each other and like kind of leaving. And you see like as you kind of exit the castle or exit the room out in the hallway, the peasants are just they don't have any stag there, they're just living it up. They have no idea what's just happened in this room down here. But anything else you guys wish to do as we kind of close up the chapter of this story?
No, I think that's great.
Yeah. I think the only other thing that Sir Colin does is go to the body of the stag where the banquet knight is just kind of like sticking out and like lays a hand like on its neck and like kind of rubs it as if it were still alive and um just offering it a moment of respect, something that it wasn't given by the man who claimed to kill it.
Yeah. I think as you go to touch it and you do that, we hear like the music picks up and like the camera like pans out to the realm and just like the view of the forest and everything as the story comes to a close.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
And that
Well,
is
thanks for playing, guys.
yeah.
Thank you. That was
Thanks,
great.
Austin.
All right. This has been a house that ate itself. We are going to do our reaction roll, which is a live stream inside of a live stream. It's our chance to talk about a game that we just played and talk about what we thought about it. Today, we are exploring the social combat rules and new omen and myth for a house that ate itself, which is live right now over for side quest. You can go to ttrpg.link/house that ate and it'll take you right over there. It's pinned it down in the description as well. I had a great time playing, but awesome for folks who joined us late. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and tell us maybe a little bit more about where the idea for this came from.
Yeah. My name's Austin Martin. I make some little RPG projects under the name Reliquary Games. This is my second project that I got on Kickstarter earlier this year. You may know me from if you have ever played Pirate Borg at a convention. It's very likely that you have seen me there or you've been at my table, as I have ran a lot for those guys. But I did a project previously called Saltwater Sacrament, which was a part of the Winds of Hell Kickstarter that launched earlier this year. It's PDFs are out to backers, but we're hoping to fulfill a little bit later this year. So yeah, I make games under kind of that, and yeah, the idea for this really came from earlier. I guess it would have been late last year. I've been a weekly group of folks who we were a bunch of GMs and we do a bunch of rotating games and like rotating GMs. And one of my friends, Nick, he might even be in the chat, I'm not sure, but he's a huge Burning Wheel fan. And so we did like a Hillman drama, like we played in like Hyperborea and did like all this Conan stuff, but we were just like there's a lot of this kind of like your beliefs are supposed to be opposed to each other and that's what that game is about. And so there's these rules for kind of like having an argument and I quite enjoyed them. And then I was somebody when I was running a game was kind of like we kind of improvised something similar to this where we're just making attacks against spirit to kind of do a debate between two players that were like, I don't necessarily want to kill you. I just want to I want to have some sort of action resolution system where like we can decide whether the thing I want or the thing you want happens. And so this was kind of birthed out of that. And of course, Chris McDowell's excellent rules. When I was playing this, I thought, wow, like wouldn't that be a fun little thing to make? And then come side quest, it was like, yeah, just make something you can ship with a stamp. And I was like, I bet I could fit a myth in those little rules on a pamphlet, and maybe people would have interest, maybe not. But regardless, putting it together with a myth and making it easy to have the stats needed for all those things and add where you might want, that was kind of the thought process and the goal. So I'm glad you guys had a good time.
Yeah, it was absolutely great. Let's go around and hear from other folks about what their experience playing the game was and see if they have any questions. Let's start with Kendo. Tell people who you are, what you do, and what it was like to play a house that ate itself.
Hey everybody, it's me again, Kendrick or Kendo, whichever you prefer. I do, God, I'm an actual play producer, a digital storyteller, and a game designer. And you can find me everywhere on the internet at Kendo Makes Films and my actual play podcast, which focuses on telling stories at the intersection of queerness and horror using indie TTRPGs, which is Tales Yet Told. You can find that at Tales Yet Told. And this was so much fun. This was my first time playing Mythic Bastionland, as well as obviously this supplement. And honestly, I couldn't imagine playing Mythic Bastionland without this now, because I feel like this is something that I at least when I'm the kinds of games that I run, like this the intrigue and the politics of what does it mean to be a knight, and like what does it mean to uphold those oaths and like holding other knights to that oath, um is fascinating to me, and I really enjoyed it. And I mean, for my first time playing, the rules were very obviously I learned it as we were playing, and I
Sure.
feel like I have a pretty good grasp of it. So easy to learn for anybody who's out there who's like, oh, is this for me? How am I going to teach myself? I'm going to teach my friends. I literally learned it in less than 2 hours as we were playing. So there you go. Right, this was so much fun, and this scenario specifically is very much up my alley.
Awesome.
Did you have any questions you wanted to ask Austin?
Do I
Yeah.
have any questions? Like, yeah, I guess what do you? Because again, this is my first time playing Mythic Bastionland, so I don't know how long a myth is supposed to take. I guess to run.
Yeah.
Like I'm interested in like how do you imagine this playing out if it was like a 2 to 3 session kind of
Yeah.
thing rather than just like a one shot? How we?
Sure. So, like, generally in Mythic Bastionland, you build a realm, and then you populate the realm with myths, and then
Right.
you would do a bit of a hex crawl where you kind of explore and encounter them. So you would
Mhm.
we kind of skipped the first myth, the Omen, which is where you kind of get word that this banquet's happening, and then the second one is kind of like what you encounter along the way of the seer being, So we played through a couple of them, and
Mhm.
then like so it would I think that it would kind of be, oh, you start to hear some of these things happening. The other big piece too is I feel like Mythic Bastionland as a core system does a really good job of like the whole like hex exploration myth system. But I
Mhm.
also, especially as like in my campaign, as the knights are getting older and they're like getting domains and things like this, having a myth that they can go into that like dives into some of the court side of it and a lot of like the drama and intrigue. There's a table in here called Secrets to Start an Argument. And so I
Mhm.
was just rolling a d8 to get like weird things that people could want to fight about or that you could get involved with. So it's kind of just there to be. I mean, it's not like it's a. I don't know that you would do it over the course of 3 sessions. I think it's kind of a thing like once you decide you're going to go towards this myth, you would reach the seat of power and start to do some of these things.
Mhm.
But yeah, I guess the answer is like, yeah, there's a lot of really great stuff in the book if you want to go do hex exploration, do those things. If you want to do more something that's packaged up for you to say like I want to do some fun courtly stuff, this is kind of what that was supposed to be. So
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Love it. Awesome. Jesse, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do about your side quest project a little bit also too, and what it was like to play a house that ate itself.
Yeah, I'm Jesse Winter. I publish under Slime Mind Studio. I've done a few Shadow Dark Kickstarters in the past couple months. Currently doing side quest, and I have a double adventure in a single pamphlet called Damp Dark Doom. It opens up wide and you have a one shot on one side, and then you flip it over and you have a crawl into the depths with a player facing map that you can show your players and go through a point crawl adventure. Um,
It's also
yeah,
worth noting it is so much when you say, oh, it's you because you told me it's big. And I was like,
yeah,
that's cool. It's so much bigger than you think it is. Whatever you think, however big you think it is way bigger than that. And it's awesome. It's great. The,
yeah.
the size of it. Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
When we started SideQuest, it had to fit into an envelope, and the idea that you can put this into an envelope and then it still unfolds to be something very big is very exciting to me.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but this game, I love Mythic Bastionland. I haven't had the chance to play it as much as I would like, but I feel like this bolts onto the game perfectly. It just feels like it's supposed to be there, especially as you have knights that are getting older and their clarity and spirit stats are like increasing with age. It it's a natural fit story wise, mechanics wise, and I like the way that it just zooms in on the social aspect of the game. I think it's really easy to hand wave a lot of stuff, and just be like, oh yeah, they agree with your argument, and sometimes that sort of pacing
Sure.
makes sense for the story, but like to make this like a climactic moment
Right.
to have weight. Yeah, it's exciting. It creates a level of uncertainty that's just, I think, probably fun for the GM just as much
Yeah.
as the players.
Yeah, I definitely find that like I'm a big fan of the two ends of the like, let's just say like I like your idea, I would like to reward it, and we're just gonna
Hmm.
roll with that. That's great. And then I also really like the like let's make this a set piece thing. What I'm not a fan of is like make a spirit check to see if you convince the guy of a thing. And so the
Right.
goal of this is to be able to say like, okay, let's take the ethos of that, like let's roll to find out. But like let's make it in a thing that doesn't feel like it's just like one arbitrary roll that's like that
Hmm.
has some tacticalness too. And I love the combat system too in this because it's very much I roll my dice pool and then maybe I combine it with a friend and then we narratively decide what that looks like and how we do
Hmm.
that. And so having an argument or a debate that's based on that process of like we'll find out what I say once we'll see what my dice look like is always fun too. So yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
and yeah, the fact that everybody gets to be involved is a
Yes.
huge piece of it. And the flashback component gives you more zooming in on the main person.
Mhm.
You get to learn more about that character every time that you go into one of these
Mhm.
duels, and I think that only makes things richer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I had a blast. This is great. I loved. I mean, I had read through the rules already. I didn't look too closely when Austin and I started talking about doing this AP at the myths or anything, because it is. I mean, if you most people can't see it, and I don't have it set up to easily show. But when we are doing myths, and this came up when we were doing it with Chris, I my character kind of diegetically was doing a lot of like note taking and other stuff, which matched who they were. But it also just became a player fixation where I love having a mirror board set up,
Mhm.
where we can kind of just like toss down, hey, here are NPCs, but also like when you're doing a multi like myth setting, like basically just creating like things that seem like omens as you go, and then trying to do the like Pepe Sylvia, like, hey, how do all these things connect to each other?
Yes.
Thing is super fun. Even with a contained myth, there's things that I'm just like, cool. I don't know if this is the same clue that you're riffing on, a new clue. I'm just gonna write things down. Some of them will
Yeah.
match, some of them won't. The nice thing about this is there is a tendency just to solve things with fully with just violence, which is like fine. Or I mean, because even within the context of the knights, there's still uh um there's like as long as they're following the themes of things, like how the parts of the oath are meant to kind of be difficult to interact with sometimes. Like, is chaining up a seer and bringing them back, because there are bad seers. Like seers are
Sure.
not. They fight each other. There's conflict between them. What does it mean when they don't? There's all kinds of things that can put the oath in conflict, that the knights have to decide. And so sometimes violence is a good solution. Other times it's just kind of full role play. This creating a space where it's like, I want to inflict emotional violence on this, and having a process for that is
Right.
something I think a lot of players want in a game. They want to understand how to navigate that. I also think the mirroring on this of like the normal combat, like, I mean, I alluded to it. It was like, the rebuttal is the deny of this.
Yeah.
This is the
Right.
blast of that. The gambits kind of matching up with each other makes it really easy once you've mastered that core system to layer this on top and be like, this is just an argument but mechanized.
Yeah.
It was also really interesting to pick the whip knight and in combat be able to break somebody emotionally, but also be like, hey, if I don't have that ability, we can still break someone's
Yeah.
argument down and defeat them and opening that up. So one of them being a violent shortcut to emotional damage, and the other one
Yeah.
being an emotional shortcut that may end in violence also too. Like, in
Yeah.
looking at how those conflicts connect with each other and are separate was super fun to
Yeah.
explore in play. I think he did a really great job of because Mark of the Odd games are incredibly easy. Mythic Bastionland, because of the special abilities and gambits, is the one that the information flow feels really complex when you get to
Yeah.
combat until you get into the mode of it.
Sure.
And the emotional combat felt just as easy once you're in the flow of it. So
Absolutely. Well, my
Yeah.
idea came from because Chris has made such a fantastic physical combat system that
Yeah.
I was like, I am not trying to make something that much different. I
Yeah.
just like want to take this system that exists that is tight and good and adapt it for something that allows us to have these types of conflicts. And that's kind of what, yeah. There's also a lot of things too. Like we didn't get to see all the emotional equipment, but some of them, like one of them's 2d4, and when both dice return the
that's the one I
same
had.
result, they you get to do a gambit regardless if it's a 4 or not.
Mhm.
So like some of his blog posts too about like making weapons that have cool effects and those types of things
Yeah.
was another place where I was like, I can add a little bit of somebody that's like, I want to have arguments with mechanics. I was like, it's okay to add a little more crunch in here, I think.
I do.
So
You and I have been talking about like what are good stretch goals for the project. I actually do think a custom character sheet that's essentially kind of double-sided and has your emotional stuff broken out on the
Yeah.
other side would be a good, fun,
yeah.
easy print at home digital
I
element
think
to
that's
give
going to
people
be
also
that's
too.
definitely something that we may. It's also something I'm just thinking about just doing, just
Yeah.
making it.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I think it's fine to just
yeah.
make it easier to, to play.
I will also say too, one in terms of stretch goals, we've hit a couple of them, and 2 of them are bookmarks. So if you are a backer for this and you haven't looked, the last update that got sent out, there's a poll that's open for I think 2 more days on what you want on the bookmarks, and it's pretty close last time I checked for what some of those options are to have, because I love these little like well, you can't really see it here, but the bookmark in the book, but I also to have like 5 magic cards at all times, just like stuck between pages to find
Yeah.
things. So we'll have some bookmarks coming too. So
But no, this was great. It came up at some point in time, like when you mentioned it being like a unicorn, and then, I think some of this is just the causality of play. But I am curious, how much, what was the A20? Is it A24? What is the horror movie with about a unicorn that like a father and daughter? It's Paul Rudd. And,
I have to watch this.
I was about to say, I was going to ask if it was an influence, just because there were so many things in this that were different but felt tonally connected. I think it's just some of the themes.
Death of a Unicorn.
Death of
Yeah.
a Unicorn.
Death of
I'm
a
gonna have to
Unicorn.
watch
You should go
this.
watch Death of a Unicorn.
Oh yeah.
So obviously not a touchstone, but had some really good vibes to it that were really fun. Also, great job creating a night to hate. Like that was like the banquet night. Banquet night was real easy to get down on. So
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know that I have any more questions, and I haven't seen any come in on chat. So if folks want to go back this, they can go to ttrpg.link/house8. It'll take you over to Kickstarter. Do you have a link to Jesse's product on your page? You don't have to.
Yes. So
okay.
if you go to my
You do.
page, you will see at the bottom there is a link to Jesse's. Also, I sent out in the backer update, the last one. There's a full like little plug of Jesse's project in there.
And again, I want to shout out
thanks for that,
Jesse's thing is one of the coolest form factors I've seen in the entire thing. Like, I love an A5 pamphlet. It's one of my favorite formats. It was really cool that this is in that format, but was also really excited to see what Jesse is up to in that physical format for that point crawl.
It makes me mad I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I should have came up with that. That's
right.
so good.
But if you are into Mythic Bastionland and like what this is doing, also, it won't get announced. It'll get soft announced next week. Like we'll talk about it, but it won't be available until the following week. We are dropping Where Crimson Lily Lies, which is a solo Mythic Bastionland Squire adventure. It's a great character creation process that Quinn Blackwell has done. It's really good also too. We love supporting Mythic Bastionland however we can. Chris is a great partner, and it's created an absolutely amazing system. So was thrilled about this and everything else that folks are up to. Next week, we have announced this already on social media, but we are doing Wizard Week, where every day next week we will be sitting down to explore one part of 7-Part Pact, which is Jade Dragon's new game that's coming out through Steve Jackson Games and Possum Creek. It is huge and insane, and there's no easy way to talk about it in one day, so we are talking about it for 7 days. If you think Shark Week meets Weird Wizards is a good idea, we're doing it. So come back next week. They will be at different times depending on when our guests are joining us. We've got special guests each day for that. And then Wednesday night, we've got an additional stream with Avery Alder for part of our Show Me Your Moves theory here on stream. We're going to talk about the evolution of belonging outside belonging, designing Monster Hearts, and their perspective on life and design through the lens of PBTA. It'll be me and my normal co-host, Aaron King. The week after that, we are off because we are headed to Gen Con, where at least I'll see Kendo, anybody else? You're going to see Jesse, Austin, anybody
I'll be
there?
I'm not gonna
Awesome.
be there.
Yeah.
I
sadly.
have a wedding.
I'll hang out in person. Well, congratulations to whoever's getting married.
Yeah.
And so, be really great. The entire Stone Top team will be in for that also too. So if you're a Stone Top fan, we'll be there. And I have heard that Sir Chris McDowell will also be in attendance, even though they originally weren't gonna be. So we'll have all kinds of fun stuff happening. We are at booth 4, 4, and 9. It's listed as the IPR booth because they are our hosts along with 4 other creative teams. So it's a big area with a whole bunch of creators in it. Over 500 individual indie designers get represented through the IPR +1 and Friends section of that. Really excited to see our friends from Brightbard, More Blueberries, Goose Poop, and Graphbound hanging out with us also too. So we will be there hanging out. And that's it. That's
Yeah.
all good. Go back this.
I'll be at the Need Games booth if you want to come say hey. So
The Need Games booth. Our friends from Italy. And so excellent. We've never figured out a good way to end streams here on Plus One EXP. And at this point, we're not interested in figuring it out. So we're all just going to wave at the camera until I take us off
easy.
the air. Good night, everybody.
thanks, guys.
Good night. Good afternoon. It's all good.